Oh my god, I discovered
which
that
I didn't
yesterday.
know, and
Dream is
my
life.
life is transformed.
Dude,
Okay, so wait, so Final Fantasy 14, I have to like buy it and then subscribe?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's an expense.
If you haven't
It's not about
had
that.
an account before, you get the first 30 days for free.
I think I've done the trial before.
If you buy the base game, you still get a 30 days for free.
Yeah, they give you 30 days for free at least, which is nice. And then there's also expansions that you have to buy separately.
It's included in the
Told
$60
after 30
now.
days, I'm
Oh,
probably
is
gonna-
it?
Yep.
They changed
They have
that's good.
they have a complete they update the complete edition every year.
Sweet.
So it's $60. You get both Stormblood and Heavensward. And
Nice.
even if you only had the base edition,
Way better.
if you just buy Stormblood, they include Heavensward now.
Cool. That's good. All right, so D&D. When last we left off, you had succeeded at defeating the Gorgon Queen of the Gardens of Nangalore. And retrieved the Black Orchid, which you took back to the Aarakocra Monastery of Kir Sabal, where the peaceful bird people gave you, they're not peaceful, the tranquil bird people gave you did a ritual that has given you the ability to fly, which was the plan. And my understanding of the plan from here was to fly west to the
Heart of Ubtau.
the Heart of Ubtau, a floating earth moat where you could get a good view of the lay of the land and try to figure out where the lost city of Omu is. Zelkore had mentioned before her demise that it is to the southwest-ish, but that's a pretty large area. The problem being that you suspect that the Heart of Ubtau is occupied, as most of the Earth moats fell during the Second Sundering when 5th edition hit and magic changed again. And this one's still floating, which means that either there's something really powerfully magic that's keeping it afloat, or someone's like maintaining it. Now that you can fly, though, you can fly 10 tiles or 10 hexes a day. So that's pretty good.
Huzzah.
So you can get to the Heart of Ubtau in one day.
excuse me.
Good to know.
Also, I just noticed that the You Are Here pin has not been updated.
Oh yeah, good call. We should definitely move that. Is that the right one? Yep.
Which map are we using right now?
Here is your guys' map of Chult currently.
Okay, cool.
Trying to position that pin so that you can click on either of them. I have so many more pins than you guys on my map. It's really difficult sometimes. It gets easier as you clear things out, though. Probably your hidden canoe has been moved as well.
Yep.
There we go. Probably just going to leave that there for a while, huh? I think that canoe's days are done. Those canoe's days are done.
For at least the next 3 days.
The last day will just be spent flying back to where you left the canoe. Like, ah, crap.
Well, we have the folding one, so do we really need it?
That's true. You have a folding boat now, which is way better than either of those canoes.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, a lot more convenient.
So
Good
one of
call.
those
way easier to carry.
one of those canoes does have sentimental value if we killed lizardmen for it.
That's true. Good,
That's
good
why
times.
there's sentimental value.
We did kill a queen for the folding boat, though. I'm just saying that might actually, beat the lizard man boat.
I thought we found that prior to
I
that whole
mean-
fight, and then we killed her to get it back.
Of course, my boat is superior, but
Semantics.
either way, a queen died.
It was in her house.
True.
Right?
And
Yeah.
She tried to take it
Or-
away.
Or did you find it randomly before? Now I can't remember where exactly y'all found
No,
the
we
boat.
found it.
Didn't
found
we
it
find it in
semi-randomly.
one of the random encounter holes with the whole bat cave?
Oh yeah, you found it in the cave, the random cave. There was a boat in it for some reason.
It was a
It was an
box that she
Yeah,
found and was able to.
That's right.
Oh yeah, there was the adventurer corpse.
was-
Sometimes
Yeah, we found it on the adventurer corpse.
boat doesn't help you when you're at the bottom of a cave with a bunch of bats.
Was that like a random encounter, random treasure thing, or was that actually a
You
set?
bet it was.
The folding boat was a random encounter. Okay, nice.
Fate wanted us to have this boat.
It's actually pretty
Yes.
handy. Okay, so is there anything else that anyone wants to I know that Sean had already mentioned wanting to grab some scimitars, and that is totally
Yes.
possible. I don't know if you did that already, but if you didn't, I can make that happen
I
for
would,
you.
Do they
I-
have
I
any
would
like
to
cool
obtain-
weapons, like or any like
They don't.
cool arrows or anything like that, or is it all just like basic stuff?
No, they just basically they don't really have a lot of wealth.
They have
They just have
arrows made out of
basic stuff.
dragon bone.
Oh, how much do those arrows cost, by the way? I think got like 30 of them.
I think I charged you already.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I did. They're not very expensive.
I figured not. I just wanted to double check and make sure.
I have
Oh.
2 scimitars. Did you just add those to my
Let's see.
inventory?
You bet I did.
Rations.
Oh. All right. How do I set them up as my weapons?
It should automatically be added to your actions tab, and then you might need to.
I think
You'll
in the
probably need to edit
inventory
it.
you need to click to where it's worn first.
Yeah, but they
Fine.
are in your action tab currently,
Okay, yeah, I see them as an attack.
and you'll probably want to unequip your rapier. You'll probably need to edit that some for your various things.
Yeah, I mean, all the 2-weapon fighting thing does is just make it your, like you don't
Okay.
get any penalties. You just have it.
Yeah, does it let you? No, so you still don't add your modifier to the second attack though, to the damage. To the damage,
Right. Yeah. So it's 1d3 plus what 1d6 plus 3,
and then
the first
1d6.
1d6 on the second one. Yeah.
Yeah, but we can futz with that. Here, actually, I can do it really quick. It's easy. Oops, not if I click on Shine's character sheet. A mistake.
Oh wait, hold on. 2-weapon fighting style it does let you add your ability modifier to the damage of the second attack.
Oh, it does? Good.
That's what the
Okay, so you don't even need it.
special styling style is for them for blades.
Cool. So you don't even need a separate thing.
Yeah. So I just would roll that same. I would just roll that twice then, right?
Yep. Believe
Yeah.
so. Let me just double check all that. Fighting style, 2-weapon fighting. Swapping out Brand's
For that second
abilities due to some recent knowledge about how the rules work. And the fact that since swords are a arcane focus for Bran, he can cast well holding a sword in hand.
Oh, that's clever.
isn't it though?
Cool.
So it's okay to use 2 weapons as a bard. Okay, yep, this looks all correct.
Wait, so Azaka did her scimitar get frozen?
Yep.
Oh,
Afraid so.
is it magic? I'm just kidding.
It isn't.
I mean, if it was.
It'd still be stone.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure we have the 2-weapon fighting rules because I haven't had to use them yet in any of my 5e games. So I'm just double checking so I don't get them mixed up with any other of the numerous millions of editions I've played. Yep, looks like we're good there. Cool. Hmm.
Test
Okay.
1, 2.
Hey,
Sorry, like for some reason it wasn't working. Oh, I know what it is. I can't do the push to talk on top of Fantasy Grounds because it uses that key for something. But I remember now why it is that I signed up for the Arcana domain, and it's coming next level.
Oh, baby.
Alrighty. So, if your business in Kir Sabal is complete, will you begin your overland flight to the Heart of Ubtau?
Okay,
I imagine so.
I love the image of your party flying through the air, though, because you're just like, you all have extremely different body types and equipment loadouts.
And only one of us looks like he should fly.
Like, one of you actually has wings. Notably, for those of you who
By
were
the
not
way,
with us
everybody-
last week, at the end of the ritual, Ashara's wings, the leader of the monastery who did the ritual, her wings disappeared. So
Whoa.
the implication is that she gave you
forgot about
her ability to fly for a period of
Wow.
time.
I mean, I was about to make the joke that this is cultural appropriation on all of your
Nice.
but I mean,
Apparently.
after that, I don't know.
That was a good one.
So you
Flying is
shall.
something only birds can do.
This is bird culture. How
Only-
dare you?
only-
Third person does not approve.
Yes, that specifically.
What was it now?
So you fly west out over the jungle. This is a completely different experience from your many, many nights or days and nights now, slogging through, cutting a path through the overgrowth, constantly on the lookout for undead or other threats. Here, it's relatively peaceful. Every once in a while, well, fairly often actually, there's passing flocks of birds or what have you. You killed most of the terra folk in the immediate area over at Firefinger, so that seems to not be a problem for the time being. So you're able to cross just in the span of like a day's travel the great distance between Kir Sabal and the Heart of Ubtau. The Heart of Ubtau is, I'll show this image while I describe it with my words. A massive chunk of earth and rock torn from the, it's bad writing, torn from the ground, drifts over a swampy forest, about 100 feet above the ground. A petrified tree towers above the stone, with its stone roots protruding from the bottom. Between the shape of the rock and the branching of the tree's limbs, it creates the impression of a gigantic stone heart hanging in the sky. The impression is only made more gruesome by the red liquid dripping from the roots. You see a cave mouth in the side of the slowly rotating heart, and a staircase winding from the cave up to the flat top, where the petrified tree stands. The staircase definitely isn't natural. It was carved with tools into the rock.
Let's
So that is
go.
what you can see as you approach.
Shine does all the loopy loops.
Hux is going to kind of start at the bottom, making passes, just seeing if there's anything noticeable until they get about 10 feet to the open, below the opening, and then we'll latch on.
Shine hum Stairway to Heaven.
It looks like a beehive.
Could you was this part of what Queen Monoxenari set us out to do?
No. She said that somewhere, well, kind of. She said that the thing she sent you to send, I believe it's in notes. But
I'm just trying to remember why is it that we're going to the Heart of Ubtau again?
you guys were going here because it's a good place to kind of get a look around from everything. For at the terrain in the area, and then make a judgment call about where to go next from there.
Gotcha.
It's kind of just like, it's a platform hanging in the sky, high up. I mean, you can all fly now, so you can kind of do the same thing, but it's a good place to kind of land and look around. That was the intention anyway. And at the time, you all weren't 100% sure you were going to get the ability to fly. So this was like, maybe we can figure out some other way up there, or what your ability to fly would exactly entail. But that was the plan. If you all want to go somewhere else and just leave this behind, that is also fine.
No, imagine the
We're
cool
here.
treasure we could find.
You can be
We're
there.
here,
Yep, you are there.
So do I see anything that looks out of the ordinary? Besides, of course, being a giant rock flying, but like any kind of, I don't know, marks from creatures or anything like that?
As you're kind of flying around it from the bottom up in kind of a spiral location, You will spot something. That's what everybody else is doing while Hux is doing this. Are you like holding back a bit away from the thing, or are you?
I want to fly like straight up to that cave and like look around.
Well, clearly I have to join her then.
Go up, knock on the door, grab like a welcome basket, be like, "Hey, we're new to the neighborhood."
Hux takes the cautious approach. Shine, and with Belisar's reluctant accompaniment, just flies right up. Apparently,
I think Fennec joins in with just the flying right up.
Bran,
Gotta do
Yeah.
my cat god
I mean,
proud.
what are you hanging back? Or are you coming?
I'm
Up
gonna
to
go.
the-
I'll go with.
Okay, so everybody else just kind of flies up as Hux begins to scout. Sorry to report,
Thumbs
Hux.
Why am I even a rogue if this is gonna happen?
Or the cat lord.
So,
To steal everything, obviously.
I'm
Maybe
not a
I'll
thief.
look quicker.
So Hux is kind of hiding a bit under the lip of the edge there by the cave, and the rest of you kind of land on there. And as you do, you see someone coming out of the cave. It is an elven woman with long blonde hair and wearing robes of various kind of darker colors, but nothing like evil. It just looks comfortable. I just to be like, she's not wearing evil robes.
That's
Um,
stereotyping.
Yeah. And
That's Clothis.
let's call this.
That's robust.
I don't know, the specific
Um,
description of they're not evil robes just makes it seem so much more evil.
I know. Made a horrible mistake.
He's lying. Kill him now.
These are not the robes you're looking for.
Anyway,
Here's an image of her.
Unidentified map image.
are you some sort of druid?
She
Where are
kind
you?
of spreads her hands as she comes out and she says, hello, welcome. I wasn't expecting visitors.
How's it going?
I believe that.
Don't.
Somehow I doubt there are too many.
She's clearly not like Chilton. You can tell as soon as she talks and by her appearance. Can I help you with something?
I look over to like Bran and it's like, I don't know, or everybody behind me is like, I don't know.
Well, we weren't really expecting any company when we came around here. It's are you some sort of caretaker or guardian of this?
I'm a scholar. I've set up my sort of library here for the time being. I'm looking for something here in Chult.
Oh, well, might I ask what?
Well, I suppose that depends. What would you like to come in?
Yes.
Sure.
What was your name?
She smiles at that and she says, my name is Valerie.
Fabulous. I'm Shine. This is Hux. Wait, did Hux ever actually come in?
Hux is hiding.
I am not there.
I still kind of like just
The
picture
shadow
Shine
that
going
you
like,
don't see is Hux.
this is Hux, and it's just like imaginary friend.
Hux would like to say hello. He's just not very good at talking to people.
Yeah, but he would totally love to have some tea with you.
Name's Fennec.
She looks at Belisar.
Damn it! I keep clicking on the damn. He
all
just
good.
kind of
This is her
looks
glitter
back at her.
scales.
And you, sir, do you have a name?
Of course.
Would you like to share it with me?
This is her glitter scales.
Sir, glitter
Figured.
scales. Well, I suppose it will have to do. Kawasha introduces himself and Weed as well. Also, the image of Weed flying through the air pleases me deeply. Just Weed and Hux kind of like flying next to each other. The entrance slopes up slightly towards the inside. And so there's kind of like water running between your feet. It's a bit muddy.
What's the scale of this large rock?
I've just shared another map with you that should give you a good idea of it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
Is that everyone? No,
I'm missing. There we go.
Oh, I could put her on there as well.
I go to examine the lights because they look really cool. Are these magical in nature, or are they just very shiny?
Where is the elven woman? Where is she standing?
She kind of leads you inside.
Okay. All right. Anything? Looking around the room, anything? Like anything kind of weird? And
Absolutely. Let me describe it to you.
awesome.
The cave is musty and dimly lit by daylight filtering down through the hollow petrified tree trunk 20 feet above. There's a pool of dirty rainwater occupying the central 20 feet of the floor, between natural pillars formed by the roots of the petrified tree. There's 3 tall bookcases standing against the wall to the right of the cave entrance. You can see those there. There's a desk and several wooden crates standing against the left-hand wall. And opposite the entrance are 2 open doorways into smaller chambers, and between them a large iron cage. Now, I say open, but actually the one to the northeast here has like a curtain in front of it. So like it's open, but it's like kind of like you can't see inside really.
What's in the cage?
Nothing. It's an empty cage.
I'm going to step over to the bookcases and assess her collection of books. I want to get an idea, like just how good of a scholar is she? We're talking world class. We're talking any particular subject that she's more interested in than other subjects, maybe.
I'm gonna like ask for details, like how long she's been here, what she's studying, fun stuff like that.
Fantastic. I'll tell you in a moment, Bran, while they're having a conversation, because it takes you a little bit of time to peruse the shelves.
Of course, of course.
Vlinder doesn't seem offended that you're kind of immediately examining her book collection. Indeed, she kind of like nods in approval.
Yes.
I'd like to do a perception check to see if there's anything unusual that immediately catches my eye.
Yep, go for it.
I will help.
Hux, you hanging out outside, just kind of lurking nearby and eavesdropping?
Yeah. Also, there's a like you said, red liquid coming from the roots. Correct.
I did.
I'm going to go and first sniff it, and then if it doesn't smell like acidic, touch it and kind of examine it. Basically, is it blood or is it something else?
Hey, Finn,
first
if you can roll again.
At first it does. Yeah, you have an advantage because
Advantage.
Shine's assisting you.
Oh,
Fennec.
for their perception?
Yeah. Well, that's much better.
Yes, it is.
I'll get to that in a moment. Hux, outside, you kind of sniff the red liquid a little bit, and it does smell a little bit like blood. It smells, kind of has that irony, rusty smell, but you quickly realize, and it does look a little bit like very thin blood, but you quickly realize that it is the water that is kind of seeped through the stone, and there must be iron deposits inside the stone that are kind of staining it red and making it look like blood dripping from a heart.
Okay, that's what.
So
I was
there's a relaxing scientific explanation. A rare event in Faerun. Inside, perception checks. Okay, here. I'm gonna whisper something to Fennec here. You don't see anything out of the ordinary, but oh wait, actually you do smell something. Hold on. This is quite important.
All right, real quick. So since I have like the passive perception thing, like what does that entail?
So passive perception is something that I like compare when you're not like actively looking around.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's, for instance, if someone's trying to like sneak up on you and you're not actively keeping watch, That is what I would compare it against.
Okay.
Or if you were like exploring a dungeon and there was a secret door, you'd have a chance to just kind of notice it. Here we go. All right, so I'm sending you a little bit of information here, Fennec.
Okay. Everyone else look away from the stream.
Oh. I guess that's true.
I don't have the stream open.
Okay. And Brett, the books, scrolls, tablets, maps, they're all about Chult. They cover history, geography, culture, natural philosophy in great depth. All of them are quite old, however, at least 100 years old, generally speaking. So they're all quite out of date for what modern Chult contains and is all about.
Huh, ancient stuff, or older stuff.
Well, yeah, and it makes sense because a lot of information after the spell plague and after stuff started going to shit in Chult, a lot of information was lost and people haven't really been able to keep up to date. And, you know, like I said, your expedition has the most complete map of Chult of probably anyone in the world at the moment.
You're welcome, society.
If you survive and bring it back.
True.
Anyway, so she's greeting you. And she says, please come in. What brings you to this area? I don't think that you're from around here.
Whatever gave you that
I just
impression.
cough at my companions.
Did you hear me or did I speak too low?
I couldn't hear you, Jay.
I said whatever gave you that impression.
The locals have a certain aesthetic. All right, I'll go first. That's not a problem.
I already asked her what she was doing and like I want like details.
I am here looking for a dark artifact of considerable power. It is my belief that if it can be located and captured, it can be turned to positive ends rather than the darkness it is currently involved in.
You're not talking about that death curse, are you?
I suspect the item I seek is related. Have
Well,
you
that's
come
very
for a
interesting.
similar reason? She smiles as if she was kind of expecting that answer.
Ah,
I'd like to insight her check for her intentions.
I bet
with
you
it.
would.
15.
yeah, let me do it there too. Oh, no, never mind. I'll just let you resolve that. Never mind. I'll roll it.
She's definitely being like, she's not telling you everything.
Okay.
That makes a fair amount of sense, but she's definitely, she's being, let me see, hold on.
Well,
Oddly evasive with these strangers who literally
Yeah,
pop
that's
up on their
right,
door.
exactly. Like, it's not super odd that she's being a little bit withholding.
right. Well, that's very
Anyway,
interesting that you bring that up. You say that whatever this thing is that's related to the death curse could be used for positive ends. What kind of positive ends are you thinking?
It's hard to say until it can be researched and examined, but it will take some time to be certain. But it clearly has a unique brand of magic, And that is not something that should be immediately thrown from this world unless it is absolutely necessary. Destroying it should be a last resort, you see. I am confident in my ability to quarantine its power here.
I don't suppose it's a chalice, is it?
I do not know what physical form it takes.
You know where it is?
I have suspicions. Why would you like to fetch it for me?
Well,
Maybe not when you put it like that.
You're
Just-
right. I am speaking quite lightly of a most dire quest.
so I'm assuming it's something you wouldn't be able to retrieve on your own. Otherwise, you would have already.
It lies within a very deadly place.
Lots of undead. Sound about right?
Less undead, actually.
Less
More-
undead and more.
Are you familiar with the Yuan-Ti?
I don't know. Am I? I'll say he's. Wait, are they anything aquatic related?
A little bit. They're snake
think
people.
snake
You probably know they're snake people.
I as a player know what they are, but I
Yeah.
just trying to think like would he just kind of know that? I was
You
just
probably know a little bit. They're generally regarded as evil snake people. They're not always really evil, but pretty evil.
heard of them.
I feel like I'd probably be used to like dealing with them.
Oh yeah, you've
as
definitely,
merchant.
no doubt. Some of them come into Port Nyanthru occasionally to trade. Or just, they're fairly common in well, they used to be fairly common in Chult, so.
Well, I mean, if we're going to work on anything on your behalf, you probably need to know a bit more.
While this conversation's going on, Fennec kind of
Mhm.
slowly is walking around, examining the bookshelves, trying to nonchalantly get closer to the cage.
Sure. Yeah. I'm gonna have her roll insight.
Did I roll a deception or anything, or
Yeah, I think probably deception is what makes sense in this case.
woo -1?
You should have a name.
I'm gonna go over here now.
Just like bang into a table or something.
She looks at Fennec, looking at the books.
No, you're just
Sandy
like,
next to
talking
Bran now. Because, I mean, she was just talking to Bran and looking at him, so it's not like a long change of direction, but it is noticeable. But she kind of just eyes him like something there that interests you, Fennec, was it?
Yeah, these he picks up a book on a shelf and just kind of looks at the cover. Some of these topics kind of remind me of I don't know, some of the things that my family would talk about at our museum back home.
Ah, a museum. Where?
I know I have that written down somewhere.
Is the answer.
Um.
No worries.
Back in
I see. Well, if you're scholars, then I am even more inclined to suggest that you should she kind of steps back a little, but not in like a cautious way. It's more like she's kind of leaning against this pillar over here now. Crosses her arms a little. I'm even more inclined to trust you with this task. If you're interested, I don't have much to offer you other than knowledge and the potential to turn a deeply powerful magical artifact to the side of good. It is called the Soul Monger, I believe. I do not know from what provenance it comes. but it is clearly radiating a great necromantic energy, which is disrupting the nature of death in our world. I have narrowed down its location to the city of Omu, once a great capital of this land, now fallen deeply into ruin and infested with the Yuan-Ti that I mentioned, among other threats.
So this is the part where I suppose I'm supposed to ask, how do you intend to reappropriate a necromantic artifact to be used for altruistic or good ends?
Necromancy is not evil by default. It is that same necromantic power which allows us to raise adventurers such as yourselves from the dead under normal circumstances.
Do you really
The same power that is being used to contain souls might be used to free them,
Interesting.
more easily raise the dead.
I'm gonna look at Belisar. What does Belisar look like in response to that?
The possibilities are endless. What does Belisar think about this? What's he? Is he glowering over there?
If he said, "Oh yeah, when we resurrect people, it's all necromancy," like I'm just gonna look at Belisar like, "Yeah, is it?"
Are you there, Jay? Did we lose you? Is your button not working again? He was having issues.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Sorry, I keep forgetting that when I push the button over Fantasy Grounds, you guys can't hear me.
Yep.
And now I completely forgot what I was going to say.
Dang.
Is necromancy evil all the time? Says Bran, or doesn't say, but seems to be
Bran.
looking at looks Bran.
The necromantic arts, although strongly considered to be the work of ancient evils, there are times when it can be used in the name of good.
If Shine is crossing the other side of the room, Valindra will like straighten up from her leaning position on the pillar and be like, as you get kind of like partway there, be like, excuse me, could you stay on this side of the room? I don't know you all very much, and frankly, my most valuable items are on the other side of this place. Additionally, I have been preparing for some time, as I was about to bring up to you, arcane lines of energy throughout this earth mode, which has remained stable. The power of Chult kind of flows through this area, and I believe that is what we can harness to control the dark energies of the Soul Monger. Do you keep moving, or are you going to stop when she asks you to?
No, I'm just gonna look around and be like, you are asking for our help with something that realistically you're not giving us a whole lot of information for.
I think I've told
Also, I
you
was just wandering around.
quite a bit. What do you think I'm not telling you? I've told you my goals, what I'm looking for, where it is, what the threats are.
I think the most important question is why.
What he said.
I admit my own personal goals are not entirely altruistic. I seek to increase my favor within my school.
Your school. Mages College?
Indeed.
Belisar takes a couple more steps into the room and begins to detect magical items.
Cool. Are you just casting the spell straight up then, not as a ritual,
Yeah.
I assume? Yeah. Because that would be pretty awkward.
While this conversation is going on, Hux is going to go and kind of sneak up to the top and look around and see if there's any creatures there. Still trying to remain hidden.
Great. Let's see. On the staircase. Nothing strange about the staircase.
I'm
Does he even have to
specifically
take the
not-
staircase?
Yeah,
You're
using
not
the
taking
stairs.
Yeah, I know, but I figured you were like looking at it.
That is true, and we'll try and see if there are traps.
Let's see. You don't see any traps. You do kind of see, you can hear as you get near the top, like movement within the tree. The big petrified tree.
Does it sound
On
like
top.
anything I've heard before? Does it sound like animal or perhaps like?
It sounds like something you've heard recently, which is a whole lot of bats,
Oh, lovely.
which makes sense. It's a big hollowed out tree in like a pretty safe location.
Yeah, that's one of the least concerning things it could have been.
They may or not be terrifying undead bats or the bats that you faced before with the taste for flesh, but yeah, bats.
I'll be back in a short after use the restroom.
Do I see anything else besides well, do I see anything? I know I hear the bats, but any
You
other?
can kind of see her footsteps up there. Like you can see what you would guess to be her footsteps up there. You do see some other footsteps as well. Make a survival check. Or footprints, I should say.
Ooh, nat 20. Oh wait, did that not go? God damn.
It did not.
What a tragedy. Rolled off the table.
That's still good enough.
Still pretty good. More than good enough for this information.
Oh, I need to change. That's actually 24. I need to change all these hotkeys because it has all of my old math.
Oh yeah, that's the annoying thing about the hotkeys. So in addition to what you recognize as her footprints, you also see two other kind of sets of footprints that are relatively recent that you're able to make out. One is another humanoid, just kind of human-shaped boot prints.
Okay, does it look, when you say human-shaped, do the feet look large enough to be human, elf, half-orc, or perhaps a little bit smaller, like a halfling or gnome or kobold?
It's probably a human or a half-orc, maybe like a particularly hardy elf.
Okay.
An elf who lifts.
Elf with big feet.
That too.
Additionally, there's a set of prints that are, you can only define them as reptilian. They don't look like dinosaur. They're still like humanoid sized. But they're like 3 toes in the front and 1 on the back.
Do they look like there are any like tail drag marks behind them?
No tail.
What creature would that be then? Or can I make a educated guess? What kind of humanoid doesn't have a tail?
Or sorry, actually, no claw on the back, but there are like 4, 5. So they're like 5. There's still 5 toes in the front, but they clearly have like talons on the front, and you kind of see the scale imprints as well. You could make an educated guess.
Nature?
Yeah, make a nature roll. That's certainly still good enough to identify this as, you wouldn't recognize this. Well, actually, I guess you didn't. You weren't there. I don't think it could be a lizard. Well, lizard folk have slightly different feet, so you're pretty sure it's not a lizard folk. It could be some kind of Yuan-ti. They have a variety of physical forms. The claws are too short for like a lizard folk, so you know it's not a lizard folk. Yeah, you're really not sure. You haven't really seen prints like this before. It is something you know it has to be something fairly unique in that case.
Okay, and with a 24 survival check, do I know how long it's been since they've been made?
Definitely.
Or can I make a guess?
It's only been, let's see here. Actually, hold on. I can look at the calendar. One moment. It was about 4 days ago.
Okay.
There's been some rain that has kind of washed some of the details away. That allows you to tell the time that has passed.
All right, then, while all that conversation was happening, that's what I was doing. Then I'll go back down near the entrance, but still stay hidden.
Great. Keep in mind you didn't hear most of that conversation in that case.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back downstairs, as Hux kind of settles back in and flying, pressed up against the side of the rock outside. The conversation downstairs continues. She just said, I believe, or Balsar just explained that, yeah, necromancy can be okay. And Yes. So she continues with the conversation by saying,
Which mage school or um, organization, as it were? Which one do you come from?
well, hold on. I have to break out my map.
What is its name? Who are its people? Who's the Archmage?
Are you evil?
I mean, aren't we all a little bit? Here we go.
Even Shine snorts at that.
I've studied most recently at the Imperial College of Cormyr, although I'm not a citizen of that land. They typically have more martial pursuits, so I'm hoping to kind of change their opinion of things by this study that I've undertaken.
Ah,
How long have you been
seems a
studying all
renegade
this?
necromancer.
How long have you been here?
Here,
Hmm?
like here in Chult.
Yes.
Oh, about 2 months or so.
Have you been here alone?
Yes, I'm afraid so. It's not really a place that's very easy for people to reach
Oh, what was the question?
if she's been there alone. I've done some trading with passersby that occasionally come through, but nothing too in depth, just to replenish my supplies. I have a teleportation circle set up in the back, so I'm able to travel back to my home fairly quickly.
Seems handy.
Cool.
Oops, don't mind
Oh,
that. Sorry.
right.
That was me misclicking.
Uh
Well,
huh.
Just moving windows around.
well, nobody's taking any damage yet.
So while this is going, Fennec's gonna kind of turn back towards the bookshelves and crouch down to look at the lower shelves. And while he's doing that, he's gonna try and pick up a small rock or pebble into his hand.
Okay. Sleight of hand. Check, please. Very brave. She could roll worse. Let's see.
Please roll worse.
Hey, cool rock.
She's like looking right at you. She doesn't say anything. She's just like looking at you while you do it.
With this,
I'm not
I
only
want
an
to
archaeologist, I also just love rocks.
utilize my historical knowledge feature. Entering a ruin or dungeon, you can correctly ascertain its original purpose and determine its builders, whether those were dwarves, elves, humans, Yanshi, or some other known race.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, this place was you can tell by the fragment of stone that you picked up and like how it's attached to everything else in a kind of Sherlockian moment of deduction. This place was definitely built by like this mountain area was like hollowed out by humans originally, but some work has been done on it more recently.
okay.
You would suspect by her.
Okay.
Not a lot, just like, a little bit of like those rooms in the back are probably new.
I kind of repeat that information as he stands up looking at the rock.
Quite well ascertained. This was a sort of a shrine once, about 100 years ago, for the locals in their worship of Ubtau.
It's pretty interesting. Yeah, I spend a lot of times in ruins like this, so I tend to pick up a thing or two.
I am more impressed. What can I do to convince you? I can tell you in what direction Omu lies and a general description of its appearance. And I can promise you, as I said, little reward. I know. I can give you a scroll that will allow you to teleport back here at any time.
Shine's ears perk up. Now you're talking my language.
That way, once you retrieve the item,
Sorry about that.
that's right. She is offering to give you a scroll that will let you teleport back here anytime. And she says, once you have the item, then you can bring it back here and we can decide what to do with it. Obviously, there's 6 of you and 1 of me. And if you have succeeded where I have determined that I would not be able to in retrieving the item, then I would have little chance of overpowering you. So if you decide it is in the best interest that we destroy the item, then I can help you do so. As I said, I would prefer it be a last resort, but I would prefer it not be a thing at all.
Well, this sounds like quite the dangerous undertaking. I don't suppose there are any other trinkets or other magical items that you'd be able to part ways with for the purpose of getting this for you.
Unfortunately, my as you may have surmised from my description, I do not have much funding from the college here.
Well, this is
Did
already
you
quite the gamble for you then.
did you roll an insight for me at all when she was explaining? I apologize that I was away from the keys.
I did. She seems more or less on the level. Obviously, she's being a little bit sketchy, but also your random adventurers that showed up at her house.
Yeah, that's true.
Man, I feel like who would expect random people, like people to pop up in a floating cave, is really all that. Yeah, it kind of goes both ways there.
The adventuring party just shows up.
It's also weird that she's living here, though. So, you know.
And has
I mean,
a
would you
cage
really
against the
want
wall.
to, like,
Oh yeah.
teleport?
That cage is pretty weird.
So
I'm gonna ask about the cave.
let me know if there's any rolls you want me to make with this. But while she's continuing to talk and everything, Fennec's gonna kind of move closer to the edge of the water and then looking towards her, like kind of still looking around, is gonna from holding the rock kind of like act as if he's just tossing it off to the side to put it back to the ground, but is gonna add more oomph to it to toss it right at the cage.
That's definitely sleight of hand.
Yeah, okay.
You can try again. A better
That's
roll.
good.
So I'm just gonna ask. So what's up with the cage?
Okay. Well, both those things can happen simultaneously, so she opens her mouth to answer, and
It's an invisible creature in there.
so as the rock flies towards the cage, as it kind of reaches like the inside, you can see it just like disappear, and then you hear it hit like the back of the wall and like clanking around, but you can't see it at all. She frowns at Fennec, not answering Shine's question, and like takes another kind of like step back, this time clearly much more cautious.
That was cool.
And she
Did I-
says,
Did I
"Low."
not detect that with my detect magic spell?
Oh shoot, I'm sorry. Yeah, I forgot that you did that because you like BRB'd right after that. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's illusion magic on her. There's illusion magic on the cage. There's, I believe, conjuration magic coming from the bookshelves. There's necromancy kind of near the back rooms. There's magic all over this place.
Oh,
I guess it would take Balasar some time to kind of like study all those auras, so it makes sense.
I understand. And I mean, I'm just kind of getting it together. Of course, now the attention has been brought to the cage. She takes a step back, and he
Shine is
gets
super
a much
impressed.
more discerning look upon his face.
Shine's like, oh my god, that's the coolest thing ever.
I have taken some captives who, I believe, have ill intent for the item that I described.
We have a paladin. He might be able to help you with that.
Well, a cleric.
Well,
Sorry.
sorry,
Yeah.
I apologize.
She
We
doesn't
have a
know
holy
Yeah,
that.
she doesn't know.
She said
Belsar does
paladin.
act pretty paladin-y, and he is a dragonborn, so good
He
call.
acts super paladin-y. But nah, we have a holy dude with us. He might be able to help you with that. I'm just saying. And he's also a giant dragon, so like,
Oh, it's true.
win-win.
It's true, actually. He's this one here, Balasar. I tell you, he is sussed out ill intent from all manner of people that we've encountered on our journey. He's got quite the eye for these things. You really should give him a try.
I mean, if you're interested.
In an effort to not dissuade the bluff, Balasar says nothing.
Wait, I'm bluffing?
Giant's being honest.
Well,
I was being
What's-
honest. You're a
what's
big,
reaction?
shiny silver dragon who also does holy stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure that this is kind of your forte.
Yeah, but Bran's trying to sell it.
Bran, roll persuasion with advantage.
Okay, hold on. That's where I'm a Viking.
Yeah, your time has come. Dang.
Oh,
Really has.
damn!
Good roll.
Yay, expertise.
Yeah. Bard powers activate.
Mind control.
She frowns a little.
If there's
but
any one thing you can count on a bard for, it's to be able to bullshit someone.
except every once in a while. That's when things get interesting. She frowns a little bit, but she looks kind of like towards the pool of water as if thinking for a moment, and then she nods. She says, listen, they're from the Harpers, and I do not trust the Harpers. They do not have good intent for the peoples of Faerun, whatever they might claim.
Oh,
Didn't we know a Harper?
yes, we do.
You met a Harper, in fact.
Oh, I
Some-
don't suppose one of them's well. Yeah, we met a few on the way here. I wonder if they're one and the same. The ones you have in the cage over there.
She kind of waves her hand towards the cage, and the invisibility spell kind of dissipates. And you can see,
December.
well, those of you that have met them, Artis Simber and Dragonbait,
Fucking do it.
unconscious, tied up inside
do
the
it.
cage.
Balasar takes a quick step towards her, like as in moves within her face, but does not draw his weapon.
Here's some images of the people inside the cage for those of you who have not met them before.
Our friends.
Shine is impressed at the illusion and continues saying that that's awesome and good.
Awesome!
Oh, well, that's the first time I've seen Dragon Bait.
Because I don't know them and I don't care. So, really
Okay.
good illusion.
Am I able to take a quick peek and then realize that dragon bait is probably what I saw that I didn't know what it was?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's perfect timing, too, because everybody's looking at the fucking cage.
Yep.
Like,
It's like I've rogued before.
when you step forward, she steps back, but not like all the way. But she's clearly kind of, anticipating someone reacting poorly to this.
Oh, that's
If you want to try to grab her or something before she does, you can.
No, he's making it a point
Okay.
to invade her personal space, but he's not actually making an aggressive action towards her.
Cool. He has clearly succeeded.
All right.
If the Harpers are allowed to get their hands on the Soul Monger, they will either destroy it outright and dispose of any good that it could possibly do the world, or they will use it for their own ends in turning the nations of Faerun against each other to maintain their balance of peace.
And to what end would you use it if you had the power?
Right, I'm
I
assuming you
own-
have a much better plan. A much-
I only want to find out how it can be used.
And then once you find out how it can be used, let's throw some hypotheticals out there. I don't know. Immortality. Let's say that that's possible. What would you do then?
Immortality is a tempting fruit, isn't it? She smiles. I don't suppose I would be opposed to it. Would you?
Yes.
Just out of hand, regardless of the price?
Look, I think
It
it's
could
fairly
be.
obvious that we're here. We're awfully skeptical of this claim of yours that you are going to use it for some kind of good end that they aren't. This doesn't make you look all that great. You just imprisoned a pair of harpers. You tried to mask their appearance. Of course, you didn't know who we were. But
Thank you for acknowledging that, she says.
Right. But this doesn't look great. This is not a good look for you.
Right.
In fact, this look on you is entirely false, isn't it?
She smiles warmly at Belisar. You must forgive me if It is not uncommon to use magic to enhance one's appearance, don't you think?
Your trickery cannot deceive a son of Bahamut.
Their smile turns to a frown.
Yeah, arrow is notched now. Something's about to jump out.
Okay, right. So you're probably just older than you look. It's fine. It's fine. We're talking about the ones in the cage. We're talking about the captives you have.
She points at the cage. He's already carrying one dark artifact.
Yes, the Heart of Winter. What of it?
Do you think for a moment that it does not have its own aspirations for the Soul Monger? That it is not infecting his mind after a century or more of him holding it?
What do you know of the Heart of Winter, actually? That is something that, well, we've only just encountered.
Bran, that can wait.
He's from Cormyr. I know of him. I know what the last one to hold the ring did to Cormyr.
And what was that?
Shine walks over and starts looking for the ring.
I mean, it's on Artis's finger inside the cage. You could reach inside and really reach for it. Be pretty difficult and very obvious. You'd have to stretch, but you could probably reach it.
For a while.
It looks just like a simple iron ring, but you can see that it's kind of rimed in frost, and the frost kind of extends around where it touches his skin, though he doesn't seem to be harmed by it.
You had a chance to take that ring from him, and you haven't.
That is correct.
I don't believe she can.
You are wrong. I could have taken it.
Well, why
but
didn't
I
you?
fear its influence over me. I'm not interested in what it is interested in.
And what is it interested in?
That this world be killed, turned to an eternal hellscape of ice and snow with no life upon it except the bearer of that ring.
Huh.
And what makes you think the
Interesting
Soul Monger would be able to be controlled as well? What if it has its own intentions?
I do not know. That is why I want to study it.
Does seem
I did not say I want to use it. I said I want to study it first.
Is it possible that even attempting to study it could bear its influence on you?
Yes.
So that's
Though I
something that
suspect
you
if you were to bring it to me, that would be...
And if we...
It seems
encounter-
to...
get this-
If it has such an ability, it seems to me that you would likely fall to its influence first, and you would not bring it to
Right.
me.
Well, I was just getting to that part, but yes. So why even send us at all?
Because I learned something either way.
Oh, so we're disposable then.
Well,
We
you
are adventurers.
Oh, right, of course, yes. We don't
Even
have
Shine just
aspirations
kind of looks
for it.
over and is like, yeah, I mean, kinda.
It's kind of the job description.
I would imagine that you wouldn't be a group of adventurers in the very center of Chult if someone did not consider you disposable.
Like, I belong to a merchant king. Like, my life is really only so, like, valuable as far as that's concerned.
My offer is very simple. You can take it or you can leave it. But either way, I think our conversation here has garnered as much as it can.
Right.
So if you are not going to aid me, I would request that you leave my home.
I'm going to request that you let those two go in the cage. And by request, I'm going to, what I really
Demand
mean
it.
is I'm going to insist.
Oh, hold on one sec. Mm,
Shine's just gonna back away. Far away. And go like,
Sorry, Solomon, for the delay there.
over here.
Okay.
Sounds bad though. Anyway, she will kind of laugh a little, though it's not a happy sound.
No.
Shine's gonna point out that we're probably gonna do it. Like, we are definitely most likely gonna go off and do the thing, because you definitely seem like our best chance of at least understanding it as of right now.
I will let them go when the Soul Monger is destroyed or brought to me.
Could you at least wake them up?
Why?
Well, I'd like to hear their side of the story too.
If I wake them up, Artisimber will use the Ring of Winter to escape.
Wait, how did you capture them in the first place?
I caught them unawares.
And they've been sleeping for how long?
3 days? 2 days? She blinks. She seems to consider.
Oh,
It's hard to keep track of time in here
I assume
sometimes.
you're going to prevent them from starving to death, or is that?
Yes, of course. If I wanted them dead, I obviously could have killed them at any time.
True enough.
I still say you should release them. Now.
Sorry, what was that?
Fennec said that she should release them now. I will not. I will not endanger either my own aims or permit the possibility of the Soulmonger falling into the hands of Harper, especially not this Harper. And if you think that is unwise, then do what you must. I am ready for you.
I don't know. The half-hearted deceptions tell me you're at least not very good at that and not as prepared as you like to think you are, but...
Bran, I do not believe that this is a battle that we can win. There's more at play here than it appears. And his eyes kind of seem to be shifting around the room like he's perceiving threats that you may not be aware of.
Right. Fine.
We will...
I would prefer
agree
not to
your
kill you.
terms for now. Perhaps you should let me finish my sentence.
Sorry.
We will agree to your terms for now. However, the relic will remain within our possession while you observe it.
That is more than fair. And in return, I will tell you where to go.
Did we still get the teleportation scroll? Because that was really
I don't see why not.
sad.
Is one of you schooled in the arcane?
One or two of us, maybe.
Well, I am in a sense.
Let me check if you could use the spell.
I'm pretty sure I could.
I don't
if I
think you
can.
could actually, Jay. I don't think it's...
Really?
You have to have the spell list. Like the spell has to be on your spell list.
Oh, you have to be like a
Really?
wizard
Yeah.
or a sorcerer
So with scrolls,
or a
you
bard.
can't just like do the thing.
or a bard.
No.
Huh.
It has to be on the list of spells you could. Like you don't have to be of the level. Like you can cast a spell you don't have access to, but you need to be able to get access to it someday. It needs to be
okay.
on your spell list. There are scrolls that don't work that way, but that's the most like standard scrolls work that way. Most of the scrolls you find will work that way. Like the one that the scroll that Jay found in that Balasar found, the scroll protection from undead. That is not. It does not work like that, and that is why it is a special magic item and not just like a scroll.
Cool.
She says, what? She looks at Bran. Where have you studied?
More a student of the world. It's just things I pick up from here and there by traveling. Seems to just kind of be a part of who I am.
I see.
I'm sure you've encountered others like me.
Well, it's on the shelf. It's second shelf, third scroll from the right. Take a look, see if it makes any sense to you.
All right, yeah. Where is she pointing again?
Just kind of over by the bookshelves.
All right, I go look for it.
Okay, it's on the other side actually, but it's all right.
All right, thanks. Okay, I go look over there.
You find it. Her description, third scroll from the right, looks like a magic scroll. You open it up, you can tell it's a scroll of Teleportation Scroll. For Teleportation Scroll, you need to have a certain like code phrase that like there's different rune patterns, sigils that lets you teleport to different teleportation circles. And written on this one is a series of runes. Clearly a code, like the code. She says that sigil sequence will link you to, and she points to the back room that's kind of to the northeast there. Link you to the teleportation circle that I have inscribed there.
All right.
You can either use it to get out of an extremely difficult situation, or I would prefer use it once you have gotten your hands on the item so you don't have to fight your way back here carrying a dark artifact the entire way.
Well, that's a damn practical thing to have. I mean,
I have been planning this for some time.
If we end up having to use it early, I don't suppose you could make another one, could you?
I will endeavor to do so.
Good enough.
But again, that is not the preferred outcome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just kind of look around. Suppose that's it then. Look around to Balasar and to Fennec.
Well, Fennec hasn't lowered his pretty angry gaze at the elven woman. He's like watching her very intently for completely not trusting her.
You know, I have to ask. Maybe this is a silly question, but if you could just kill us all, why are you unable to obtain the artifact yourself?
As we discussed previously, I fear that it may have the ability to infect the minds of those who bear it.
Well,
I would prefer that not fall to me.
Is there any way you can think of to negate that possible effect? To like protect against it, or?
It is simply a matter of will. There are some magical items or spells, but they are
No
difficult to acquire.
Well, that sucks.
As you can imagine, there are many in this world who wish to keep minds vulnerable.
Yes, but I would assume there are at least an equal number who would like to keep them protected.
A bold assumption.
Thanks to self.
one I would respect you for, I suppose.
Unfortunately, all I can really do is shoot some cool arrows, so like any help we can get in that regard would be incredibly useful.
She looks over at Fennec. Look at it this way. She's looking over at Fennec now. She says, look at it this way. If you are successful, you can make your own decisions at that point what to do. And no doubt be fairly confident in your ability to defeat me. If you fail, well, then the end of the story is the same either way.
Hopefully another haphazard group of intrepid folk will come your way and you can send them off on the fool's errand after
Is there
us.
something I can do to assure you that I will not kill Argus or his companion?
Fennec looks over at the cage. From the movements I heard before, can I tell if either of them are, like, if Dragonbait might be awake or anything?
Dragonbait does look like he is awake, but he's, like, not saying anything or doing much. The smell that you smelled earlier was coming from him, of course.
Yeah,
Now
I
you can
put two and two together when she said the Harpers.
I was trying to give you clues earlier. You can all kind of smell just faintly in the room the bizarre scent of roasting ham, just kind of lightly lingering in the air.
I used to know what that meant. So just a side note, Dragonbait, he exudes certain smells that to express certain emotions, and we figured out after a long conversation what each one meant.
Didn't you spend like 2 hours of a night watch with him?
Yeah, we played games and stuff. It was pretty cool. He's a cool dude. That's why I don't like seeing him locked up. It's actually hit me a bit hard, you know. Feeling. Okay.
So I'm guessing, since you said Dragonbait looks like he's awake.
Yeah. Although he's kind of keeping it on the down low. He's like leaning against the back of the cage, and his eyes are like kind of half lidded.
So I think Fennec notices that, but he doesn't act on noticing that. He just looks back at the woman, as just kind of his orcish side coming out a little bit more. And I'm probably gonna roll an intimidate check along with this, but he's gonna growl at her. If anything happens to them, if you harm anything on their heads, you will die slowly. And just roll an intimidation with it.
Resist intimidation.
Looks pretty successful. She visibly, she doesn't pale. She's already pretty pale, but she kind of brings a hand to her mouth and looks concerned. Not sarcastically concerned, actually concerned.
She blanches.
And
yeah,
he's gonna start like walking towards the mouth of the cave, like done with this conversation with her.
Good enough, she says.
Well, look at it this way. It seems we're very emotionally invested in this. Maybe that'll increase our chances of success. And I'll leave too.
Wait, you, Bran. Wait. I'd like to tell you what direction to go in.
All right, which way do we go? I mean, I figured you could just tell any of the others, but
You seem to be, other than Fennec, I mean, Palace or Sir Glitter Scales here seems to, I'm sorry, that's the only name that I was keeping for you.
Sir
Seems to be wise enough.
I forgot about that.
I didn't.
All right, yes.
So actually kind of, she seems nervous now. She's like, I really shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. She just tells her
Shy
holding up her hand.
eyes.
Okay. Well, go. No, go on. Go on.
I just mean, all right. So regardless, Omu it's sunken into the ground, so it's difficult to see and difficult to locate. There's high cliffs that surround it, and it's kind of in this valley at the bottom of the cliffs. I can tell you that it lies to the southwest, across the deadliest parts of the Chalton jungle, directly west of the Peaks of Flame, which
You know
are
if
3
there-
volcanoes that you can see to the south.
I don't
burning
suppose you know if there are
eternally.
any terrafolk between where we are and where that is, because aside, I mean, we should be able to fly our way over, but
I have seen terrafolk occasionally, but you will not be able to enter. You will not easily enter Omu from the skies. It is protected by several legions of gargoyles.
gargoyles.
So you will need to land at some point and proceed on foot if you want to enter it without a very dangerous mid-air fight.
Good to know. Anything else?
I believe that I have told you all that I can, and perhaps considerably more.
Very well. Come, Sir Glitter Scales. And I head out.
Belisar just lowers his head and shakes it a few times.
Trying to just laugh. It's not my fault you were being rude. I walk over to Valerie and just like shake her hand and be like, "Wish us luck."
She just
How's
kind
her
of
hands feel?
raises her hand and she's like, well,
Illusion.
kind of like, well, at least one of them liked me. On your player's map of Chult, I have drawn a circle and revealed a bit more of the map. That is the area that she described that the city of Omu is likely within.
Okay. You said we can, or they can only fly 10 tiles per day?
Yeah.
How many tiles do we?
Normally, you
no.
travel 1 to 2 per day on foot.
Well, how many tiles did we go today already?
10. So
So
if
we
you
have
want to
wait
camp, you can camp somewhere around here. You could probably go like 1 more tile if you wanted to get a bit away from here.
Yeah.
You
I
haven't
mean, it may
really-
not be a bad idea to like camp
Let's stick
on
around.
top of the heart.
Yeah, you could just camp on top. I mean, she didn't tell you not to.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's
I think
stick
that'd be kinda
around in
cool.
case something happens with them. I don't know.
All right. Everybody on board with that?
Yeah.
Sounds good. Hux will
Sure
still be
thing.
hiding for, I guess, the rest of the night.
Just
Luckily, they don't sleep in a bed. They just sleep in a pile of like cloth because they're so small.
That's so cute. I do have an answer to your question, by the way, Solomon, that I'm sending to you. So
Okay.
As we're Belisar, do you also head out?
Head out to where?
Head out of the cave and with
Yes.
rejoin the group. Okay, like once you're out, I'm gonna walk next to you, or Brand's gonna walk next to you. So what did you see exactly? The whole magic thing. What were you looking at?
There was enough glow within the room that she would not require a torch at night.
So, rather powerful wizard then, yes?
Or at least wanted to appear as such. But if she was able to sneak up on our friends, there's more to her than what it appears.
Well, I'm glad you alerted us to that.
We may have been victorious, but it would have cost us dearly.
Well, I wouldn't want to underestimate her. I just don't like how that went down exactly. It seemed like
I mean,
although
it's
she's
not
in a bit
worth.
of a- It seemed like even though she was in kind of a weaker position, she still was able to bargain somewhat effectively. It's just
I mean, we didn't lose anything. The dudes appear to be safe, and we have a much better idea where it is we're going. So realistically, and we have a teleportation scroll.
Jay, I can hear your music.
Oh, sorry.
It's just the montage music as we're setting up our plan.
I don't know, man. He likes to jam out in the middle of his D&D.
Someone
session.
play the Final Fantasy X music.
Can't eat on that.
Speaking of that scroll, I have added it to your inventory.
Cool.
So am I the
Brand.
only one who can cast it? Is that what I was hearing?
I believe that's so. I don't. Let me double check Arcana domain spells. I don't think is Teleportation Circle on there, Jay. Do you know offhand?
Because if it's arcane, yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah,
Teleportation
look at that.
Circle.
Cleric, Arcana domain.
Get there. Gotta do a few clicks. Arcana domain. Here we go. Teleportation Circle is on there actually. You don't get it until level 9, but
But that means
yeah.
that
Okay, so
other person
Balasar
casts
could
it.
cast it as well, technically.
Okay. I will actually make sure. Well, Balasar, if you don't take it, I'll just I'll insist that you have it,
You better take it.
unless you really want me to have it.
Of course he'll carry it. He actually has a fancy map scroll case to put it into.
All right.
All right, I moved it to, as you can see, Balasar's inventory.
Does the rest of the party make their way up to the top of the heart?
I do.
Yes.
Okay, Hux will meet you there and quietly say, "First, there are bats in the hollow trees. I'm not sure if. Wait, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear.
Okay. I'm not sure if they are been tainted by the flesh of the undead. Second, I trust almost nothing she said.
Oh, you're not alone there.
Except where she said Omu was. There is something there.
She certainly wants us to get this thing for her. I mean, that I have no doubt.
We should proceed very carefully. I've heard stories of this place. I didn't know it was an old capital, but supposedly there is a clan of my kind that may live there who are renowned at engineering, meaning if we go there, we should expect very complicated and well-hidden traps meant to confuse and kill us.
I feel like any plans we come up with, we should discuss away from here. Who knows what her magic allows us to listen in.
I mean, she hasn't followed you up, and Balasar is not detecting any magic. That said, there are ways to get around that, but...
Well, depends on how...
Fennec still just feels on edge
Oh, yeah.
and completely untrusting of the whole situation.
Absolutely.
Right.
So when the suggestion to just camp here for the nights came up, he kind of grumbled but went along with it.
I mean, it's easy and it's safe and seemed like a good idea at the time.
He realizes this. He's just begrudgingly going along with it.
All right, so
I'm
you all
gonna
make
go,
camp,
like-
but you're not planning on talking much?
I don't know. I was gonna go down and keep bothering Valerie. I mean, we're still here, and she at least seems interesting, so she might know some good spots to get some treasure. I don't know.
I think
You
she's
go
only-
back
there's
down,
only one
she's,
treasure
like,
she's
sitting at the
interested in
desk and
pursuing,
reading.
and that's the one that she
I'm
wants.
still a treasure hunter by nature, or by profession.
You go back down there, she's reading, she looks up. Like, she's looking at the door when you come in, like, she'd clearly been reading a moment before, but, like, somehow knew you were coming.
So we decided to make camp upstairs.
I suppose that is fine. Makes sense. This is a very safe location to do so.
That's what I was thinking.
That's why I've made my home here. I enjoy the solitude and safety that it brings.
Shine just kind of blinks at her. So I can take that as a hint, or
Would really prefer the first option, she says.
I was just going to see if there were any other treasure spots you might know of that you might be interested in having someone look into.
In Schult, There's innumerable ruins and lost treasures in this land.
Yes, but most people don't have a bird's eye view of them.
Quite true.
And I haven't met too many who have studied the area to the degree that I'm sure that you have.
All I
So,
know
The
is
merchant prince, what's her face, would probably really appreciate it if you had any good info.
oh, you work for one of the merchant princes. I see. There are only 2 other places I know of. And I do not know the exact location of one of them. I've only really heard rumors of it, but far to the northwest, nestled into the mountains somewhere, there is a lost temple where it's said there is a great oracle who can answer your question.
Mhm.
I do not know what treasure lies there, but personally I consider knowledge the greatest treasure of all.
Shine just kind of nods.
To the west of the place that I told you where Omu was, fairly far to the west, across the Valley of Lost Honor, there is a dragon's lair.
Ooh. Do you know if it's in residence?
Yes,
Damn it, Smog.
it is a red dragon. Not ancient by any means, but certainly formidable. I do not know to what end I do not know how large its hoard is, but I suppose after you're done with Omu, you could consider going there.
Dragons do always have the best treasure. Thank you very much, Merchant Prince What's-Her-Face. I'm sure he'll be very appreciative of your help, and I'm sure that she'll be sure to remember it in the future.
I would prefer you didn't mention me, but thank you.
Really? Then I just kind of wander back upstairs. Good night.
Good night.
Nah.
I wonder why she doesn't want the Merchant Princess to know about her.
Wonder what?
I
Yeah.
inform everyone upstairs of what happened in the 2 cool locations that I just learned about.
Shine would have probably already heard about the dragon's lair.
I mean, definitely.
Just
Yes,
from,
it is where that I just described, yes.
Okay.
It was
Well,
worth a
that
shot.
could answer any question. Tell us about the artifact.
All I learned was there was one woman who apparently is an oracle in a temple that may be able to help if this whole Omu thing doesn't work out. Which is somewhere. But what was really interesting, she apparently does not want the Merchant Princess to know where she is. And I want to know why.
Roll insight if you like.
Imagine she doesn't want a fair number of people knowing where she is. She wouldn't have picked this place to take up residence if she did. Wanted
Unsurprisingly.
more people to know about her.
Unsurprisingly, Shine does not know.
That's not something I could roll insight on, could I? Or just Shine?
You weren't
I
really
don't see why
there, so you
not.
can't really roll insight as much, but what you've surmised from what you just said is, a good start. And also, frankly, I mean, the Merchant Princes, like most of them, are kind of jerks.
Oh, okay.
And I'm
speaking
sure that mine is also a cutthroat bitch, I'm just saying.
Yeah, yours is the nicest, and even she has some really shady reputation involved.
speaking of insight checks, everyone wants to make one when the dragon was mentioned.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
It's a red dragon, too. Did I know it was a red dragon?
If anyone wants to make an insight check on that right now, they can.
I'm sorry, what was the insight check on what?
I know literally nothing.
Shine is just unsurprised. I love this idea that Shine just has no idea how other people work. Like, doesn't everybody just want the same things as me all the time?
Insight is like.
I mean, that
insight on
sounds like a cat, and I actually think that would be a really good, that would be a great flaw.
They've talked to me before, but now I got it too.
Like, I'm the nicest haver of, like, Asperger's in the entire universe. Just, yay, la 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 la. I have no social skills.
I should have a +1 to that, shouldn't I? Oh, that's right. No, I
Nope.
do have a +1 because I have a negative
Yeah.
modifier in my wisdom. Yeah, that's right.
Yep. You're good at persuading other people, but not at
More of an
seeing
active,
through their own deceptions. You're kind
more
of
of an
gullible.
active listener.
All right, so nobody notices anything out of the ordinary.
Okay, then.
Let's all keep watch, and so we don't get caught unawares by something crazy. Oh, that's right. We have our watch thing set up already.
Yep, we do have a watch order set up.
Yeah, I have nothing else to contribute.
Yeah, no, got nothing else myself.
So if we want to kill stuff, we can always like piss off the bats, but
I don't know. Are the bats enough of a distraction to get what's her name out of there? I don't know.
I mean, I don't see why you would.
Yeah, I'm good. Kind of leaving it well enough alone. We'll just see if something happens over the night. At least that's what I'm planning to do.
Same.
And I'd like for the dice gods to know that that was not a challenge.
Just saw 3 dice. Very suspicious. JP, you sus as fuck.
So are we starting watch?
I said a lot of things and forgot that I was muted.
Alright, start from the beginning.
Alright, let's try again.
I do like to roll randomly to maintain that aura of mystery, but I was rolling for a reason this time.
Yeah.
Damn it! That's not fair.
No, it's a
That's
good
messed
idea.
up. So messed up.
The only thing you notice after dark is those lakes, kind of like those lakes and swamps to the west. You can occasionally see like glimmers of light from underneath the water. They'll kind of move around a bit and then go out after a while.
So I can't get the whisper to work, but I'm going to type something in Goblin, just so stuff that Shine would know.
Okay. Bran will get it too.
Oops, that. Oh well.
It's so precious. God, I need to work on my Gollum impression. Sweet. All the more reason to kill it. Somehow, I don't think that Sir Shining Scales would be very happy with it either. As you know, red dragons and all.
Otherwise, the night passes uneventfully and you're able to sleep peacefully. I'll ask also at dusk, the nights, all the bats fly out of the top of the hollowed out tree on top of the Heart of Ubtau and fly all over. And then at dawn, they return. They don't seem to pay you much mind. It's quite an impressive sight, hundreds of them.
If I'm able to, after they leave, I would like to take a little peek down the hollowed out tree.
Yeah, now would be the time to do so.
Ooh, Shine joins in.
Just see if there's anything inside. Unfortunately, there's nothing inside except a lot of baguano.
Too bad no one casts Fireball.
It's guano.
An Ace Ventura comes to mind.
Mhm.
Oh, phew.
And then in the morning, where are you setting off to? You have a few options on your plate, at least it would seem. One is the most obvious.
Oh yeah, let's definitely go for the most obvious option. I don't think that we could take on a dragon just yet. That seems like a little much of a side quest. China's also very much waiting for
Well, I could just try to
Balthar to
talk her.
decide that he's pissed off about the whole Sir Shiny Scales thing.
See, I said Sir Glitter Scales. I'm pretty
Oh, was
sure.
it Glitter
So
Scales?
Yeah.
I don't know. Regardless of what you said, that's what I said. So I think it'd be okay if we both said different names for him. Maybe she picked up on that. Maybe she didn't.
It's just something scales, Sir Shiny Scales, Sparkle Scales, Glitter Scales.
Yeah, we can just change. We can just make it different every time we dress. I'm willing to let that gimmick die after that last bit.
I like it.
I just wanted to add a little levity to a rather serious situation.
So traveling to the southwest, as you are all kind of getting ready to depart, Kawasha will observe. We cannot easily make it to the region she described in one day, even with our flight. Our current path will take us into the very heart of the jungles of Chult, the most dangerous area, where we will be forced to make camp.
Is there
We could
someplace-
take a longer route to get around the depths of the jungle.
Where would be a good place to camp that'd be less dangerous that we could get to in one day?
The Valley of Embers is not pleasant, but if you camp on the edge of it, it is desolate and not many dangers travel there.
I agree.
And then from there, we could travel the next day towards the location she described and begin searching. She did say that we would have to search on foot. Are you agreed with that?
If there are gargoyles guarding it, probably is the best idea, but she didn't say what was on the ground.
I mean, it's obviously going to be insanely dangerous.
Well, on the map, I drew a smaller circle for where Kawasha is suggesting you fly to today and make camp.
Yeah, that looks fine to me.
Looks good.
Let's go.
I trust his direction.
Normally, I would suggest we head into the most dangerous part for the greatest chance of encountering undead, but considering the larger goals at play here, I am willing to
Don't worry,
exercise some
we'll-
caution.
We'll find. I hope we'll find plenty of undead to clear along the way.
Well, we could very easily just kind of skip ahead there, and it is I mean, you can travel there without trouble because you're flying.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
I did put on the calendar when the dance ritual ends. So this is like the second day of it. So you have like one more full day of it.
Oh, it only lasts for 3 days.
Correct.
I'm glad we got the teleportation scroll.
Didn't I? I thought I put it on there.
Yep, it's on the 11th.
Cool.
And the 22nd's our approximate deadline.
Now, I want to reiterate, that's a very, very approximate deadline.
True.
It could already be expired. It could be like a month, even 2 months from then. But
Yeah, I
that's
mean-
like the middle. That's essentially the middle of where your deadline would be. I would say give or take a month. Probably give up to a month after that. But after that's when it starts to get, sketchy. And that deadline, mind you, is not like a deadline. It's just when Sidra thinks she will die.
True.
So it's not like your quest can't continue after that. It's just like, well, the person who sent us on the quest is dead now, probably. Could be dead at any point after that.
It was the Archmage, right?
Yeah, the one who promised us a rare or uncommon magic item for completing this.
2, I believe.
I'll give you a couple sweet rares.
Like
if you-
each?
Mm-hmm.
I thought the quest only said
Don't
1.
say.
Can I have
Nope, you're right,
just
1.
Word and Scimitar, please?
He's still using it. Do you want to
No,
go take it?
please not.
So shall we be off? Fly,
Yes.
my pretties! Fly!
Let's crack on. As they
Oh,
say.
let's get going. And Fennec's
Mine
gonna
Or-
leaped
run
off
and
the
just
side.
jump off and do a swan dive for a while before taking off. Always wanted to do that.
So you got two
Facts.
people just dive bombing off the side of a literal island in the sky.
Beautiful. into the balmy air of the jungle, the heat beginning to rise as the mists dissipate slowly as the day comes on to Chult. As previously mentioned, you are able to travel pretty easily to there, and then, like, where do you guys want to land the next day? I'm not necessarily skipping right to there, but just kind of just like at the edge of the circle.
Edge of the park,
Like
Yeah.
Whichever.
here.
Maybe closer to the mountain.
Where
I don't know.
Could you mark like you're talking about the 5-foot circle, right?
So the 5-foot circle is where you guys would make camp the first night and then fly to place from there.
Okay, you skipped ahead to us flying out.
Yeah, your guys are essentially at the 5-foot circle now.
Okay.
Although it's much larger than 5 feet.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of
So
approaching the
convenient.
mountains.
So I've put the UR here. Like, you guys should be able to move the UR here token if you want to. And you can kind of put it where you want to end up. Although I would suggest you nominate one person in your group to do that, so not everyone's grabbing it at once.
It's not letting me grab it.
Oh, well then I guess not. My bad.
I'm very upset about this.
Oh wait, I know how to do it. Try it now. Can you do it now?
No.
No?
Still just grabbing my map.
Well, okay then. I guess I'll do it then. Or maybe I can do this. Here. I know what to do.
Why not just stick a face tile on there? There we go.
I'll use the party mascot.
He can be our hero.
He's the best.
I mean, he's the party leader.
Just like
So,
a
like-
game's overworld map.
Alright, so we want to be.
You all kind of collapse
Can we
into.
fast travel? Can we fast
Or is it-
travel?
We all just turn into weed.
Yeah, it could be any of those hexes inside that circle.
How?
So wherever you want to land and start searching is kind of up to you. Though keep in mind also, if you fly over Owu, you'll probably get attacked. So there's something to be said.
What about the edge of the mountain area?
That's what I was thinking. Like, if I can
Right.
grab Kupali, right there. It's actually a little bit closer to the circle, but right there.
Why do you want to be by the mountain? Or on the mountain?
Because we'll be coming around the mountain when she comes.
Because I mean, we could start there and then kind of just circle around until we find it. We don't know exactly where it is, and that way we can also get as close as possible to this area without, getting just basically ganked by gargoyles on accident.
We'll just circle strafe our way to victory.
Yeah, sure, that'll work.
So that's just where we're planning to go, right? Like we haven't started moving, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, just
Before,
what kinds of encounters roll probably.
yeah. So when we make camp for the night in the 5-foot circle,
Mhm.
Hux will ask Shine, where did the elf say the oracle was located?
That is an excellent question.
I thought
She
Where
said to
did
the
she say?
northwest of the Heart of Ubtau,
Yeah,
Okay, never mind.
nestled up against the mountains in that direction.
right. It would be
Okay.
a detour.
What he said. So can you give me a roundabout circle on those spots?
Yeah.
Just out of sheer curiosity.
I mean, her description of that location was much more vague. So, I put a pretty big circle.
I just wanted a general idea. Cool. So that way.
And then she
Somewhere.
said, I mean, somewhere in this mountain range to the west, I've made an arrow to point kind of the general area of the Dragon's Lair.
If we want to freeze some kobolds, that could be convenient. Alright, cool. So we at the 5-foot circle now?
Yep, you guys are making camp there. The Valley of Embers is pretty much what it sounds like. You can see a valley that looks like it has been completely wiped out by pyroclastic flows, river of lava, and drifting ash. You're kind of at the edge of like the jungle and where this starts, but you can kind of see fiery embers belching from the peaks of flame to the south of you, and kind of feel just like more heat even at night, kind of coming off the blackened wasteland on the other side. And the embers coming from the volcanoes to the south are falling like black rain, kind of just a bit beyond where you are. You can see the wind is mostly blowing to the northeast, so it's carrying most of the stuff away from you, thankfully. Which is probably why Quasha suggested this kind of nook to camp in.
Shine just basks in the warmth.
It looks like a highly unpleasant, but hey, warm place.
Warm place.
And then to the west of you is just the same jungle that you've been familiar with. Okay. Does anybody else have anything to accomplish at camp?
Nope.
Okay.
Just silently fret.
All right. You are able to sleep peacefully through the night. Nothing disturbs you. And then take off in the morning for the location as described by Kublu's marker on the map.
Before you take off, while everyone's like gathering around eating breakfast, Hux will say, if we want to try and raid the dragon's lair, I can take you to it. But last I knew, she did not have any magical items of note.
Okay. So we're gonna make campfire.
I guess what was the general reaction to that statement?
Sean, Jay, Mike, are you guys here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for some stupid reason, like it keeps like if I have Fantasy Grounds even at the forefront, like I'm not even clicked on it, but it's the last thing that I did click on. Then when I go to push the thing, it doesn't key up, and I don't realize it.
Yeah, Fantasy Grounds hates Discord push to talk. That's
Yeah,
why,
but
That's
if
why I
I-
stopped using it.
I turn it off and just use my mute button on my mic.
Yeah, but if I don't use push to talk, then you're like, Jay, I can hear your music.
Just true.
I can hear your music. Your music is loud and obnoxious, and
So yeah,
turn it off.
if you've said anything, Jay, and we didn't respond, that's why.
I just keep mine in my headphones.
Yeah, you know.
Right, so
it's
Hux,
fine.
you wanna repeat what Hux just said, and then we'll take it from there. Thank you.
Yeah, Hux said, if the group thinks it's wise, I could lead you all to the dragon's lair. As last I knew, she did not have any magical items of note, but that was some years ago. It could have changed by now.
Since when have we been hunting a dragon?
Since when have we wanted to go out of our way to encounter one?
It was just mentioned. If not, that's fine.
Yeah, I think we have a little more pressing matters at hand with this whole death curse going on.
And just kind of whisper to Hux, like, are you going to tell them about the other kobolds, or would you rather keep that to yourself?
Not now.
Okay.
You're talking about the kobolds I was talking about in Omu. That comment I made to the group. I didn't make that just to shine.
I'm pretty sure she's talking about the other kobolds.
Gotcha. There's so many kobolds.
I know. The place
God,
is
there's
lousy with
just
them.
so many. But Shanna. Shine just kind of pops up. It'd be one hell of an adventure, though. But right now, Heart of Ubtau is kind of the important part. So, what's the game plan?
Look out for Yunti. Don't suppose there's any sort of tracking that could help us figure out who's been coming and going?
I can take a look. I can take a look when we get there.
So shall we just wander forward then?
I mean, have we flown to the green to right outside the 10-foot mark, or are we still?
I mean, I put it there now. You guys can
Okay.
go wherever you want.
Yeah, okay. I think that's where we're going.
Sounds good to me. Once more, you take flight, perhaps for, unfortunately, the last time with this ritual, although it might still come in handy. You have some time left. Although that reminds
Shine
me,
just starts doing like barrel rolls and twists and stupid shit.
you take the time to truly enjoy this flight.
She like snatches weed and just like plays with him.
Weeds into it. He's like flying around trying to get away. Weed often just like oftentimes when he's doing it, Weed will like pretend to be a bird, or every once in a while he'll just like stop flying for a moment, and like the way his body is designed, he'll start like kind of twisting around and drifting like a seed falling from a tree before he starts flying again. Seems to take great amusement in that.
Shine just starts like spinning him around and like playing with him.
Good times. Guacha watches in approval. That's my plant, son.
Somebody's gonna choose me. Didn't start it.
But you're able to come to the foot of the peaks of flame, as you have heard them called, and land at kind of the blackened basalt and obsidian, and mixed with the natural formations of limestone that make up its perimeter, like the edge of it. And where the jungle meets the stone, you land and begin making your way into the area that you believe is somewhere within the lost city of Omu lies. Once again, we must begin making survival checks.
Woo.
God
Go, Hux,
damn it.
go. I believe in you.
I was so happy about not having to do that for a few games. Does Balthar have guidance? Because that would help.
Also, do you know how much time you guys saved? So much.
Yeah.
I mean, we were able to go in a straight line this time, so like.
For the record, I think Balthar is actually really good at survival checks.
He is, but Hux is better, technically.
Gotcha.
Has slightly higher number and gets advantage automatically, although that's not as important. But you could definitely also throw down guidance if you wanted, which would help.
Yeah, hopefully we don't get turned around this time.
Yeah, you're telling me. Jeez. So nervous. So wait,
Right.
how does guidance work? Do I just add the D4 afterwards, or what?
Yep.
Okay.
You got this.
Actually, I mean, for it, technically, just so you know, it doesn't really matter in this circumstance, but it lasts for up to a minute, and you get to choose the check that you add it to.
Okay, I mean, I'm going to add it
Yeah,
to the survival
that's
check,
fine.
obviously.
Like I said, it doesn't really matter in this circumstance, just in the future.
There we go.
There you go. Plus a D4. Not that that really matters, but just, so you can feel better about all the other
20.
times.
27.
All right. And so you make your way into the jungle, kind of making your way along the edge of the mountain. And then, actually, you know what? We're just going to use Weed's token to keep track of you guys so you can kind of tell me what direction. Oh, wait, I have a pin for you guys too, but that's fine. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we'll just use Weed's token so you guys can kind of move it in the direction you want to move to next.
Was the plan?
You have to zoom in pretty close to see the hexes. But the plan is just kind of go around the edge and then
I believe so. Yeah, kind of like
make
that.
your way. Then once you make your way all the way around, then start making your way towards into these areas, and then finally to here.
Yeah.
Is that
I
the
mean,
plan?
that was Hux's plan. If anyone has other other ideas.
It seems like a pretty good idea. Although it's in the jungle, so you probably just want to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, not under the mountain. Okay, so you can make it one more square today. That is your time. So, let's see. Where did I put that? Good.
Holy mother of God!
So many
dice.
Don't be alarmed.
It's been an honor serving with everyone.
I'll tell you,
Commend
I'm
our
not.
bodies to the jungle.
That was a pretty strong fireball. Was that?
Hey, can you wait till like next level or 7th level when I get invasion to do fireballs? I'd really appreciate that.
I have been in many of D&D campaigns, most of which have been physical tabletop games, and then of course the digital ones. And I'm still trying to decide which I'm more intimidated by: the shadow of the 20 some odd dice the DM is rolling, or the sound of them hitting the table.
See, for me, it's the shadow. Because then it's like, you only notice it if you happen to be looking.
Yeah, Jay, who's played games with me as DM in real life, knows that I will roll behind the screen for no reason at times.
He also likes to add extra dice that have nothing to do with what he's rolling.
That's true.
Like he'll add in like
believe that,
D12s and D8s on rolls that he only cares about the D20 of.
I mean, that's brilliant. So I really appreciate it, but why do I have a gold star?
Oh,
I mean,
you've just
I
been
know
doing
I'm
a lot
the
of stuff with Shine today that really emphasizes her personality traits and doesn't always play out in her favor. So I gave you an inspiration. Because that's what you do.
I'm a winner. I got a gold star today.
I did.
And
Fenix
please
still has
remind
one from
me,
the other day.
when someone is deliberately making a decision based on their character traits and whatnot, please, remind me, because I won't always remember, especially if it's a bad decision.
I mean, it's my absolute favorite character trait to give my characters, so it's always really, really fun to play. But you like me, right? I mean, I think you're cool, so you're gonna do whatever I say, right? It's so much fun.
So I mean, I'm not asking for inspiration here by any means, but I'm pretty sure that the entire time that I've been playing Balasar, I've stuck to his ideal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, his ideal is respect.
Yeah, that's true. I'll give you one, not necessarily for today, but more for generally just the whole thing.
I mean, even people that he doesn't like, I think I showed an immense amount of restraint with crazy necromancer lady.
She didn't say she was a necromancer.
No.
Black Robes wanted to do necromancy.
I didn't see her romancing no necks. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like Jazz, you have to remember the next she hasn't romanced yet to really understand what she's doing.
I'll tell you, JP, you managed to roll a geeky D&D meme and a bad dad joke into one sentence there.
I mean, that's kind of my aesthetic.
Oh.
I mean, that needs to be put on that needs to be added to some sort of an image. I'm picturing like Samwise Gamgee, but instead of dropping no eaves, I ain't been no romance and no necks.
Uh-oh. I mean, I will confess I did not come up with that off the cuff. It is from another player joke that made in an Exalted game I was in quite some time ago. He was a very socially inept necromancer. And the dumb character in the party, played by a very smart person, definitely said, "What do you mean he's a necromancer? I've never seen him romancing no necks. He's bad at that sort of thing."
Oh my God! Please tell me that he pulled a social stunt on that. Please tell me he
Oh,
did.
definitely, he did stuff like that all the time. All right, are you having issues there, Angel?
Yes. Fantasy Grounds keeps on like shutting down on me.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Why?
Nothing to worry about. Just arrange your characters in that box
God
in a
damn
way
it.
that you like as you travel.
I'm not front line. I'm second line, but I'll be up there.
So Fennec will be
I'll be
bringing up
here.
the rear. So I'm assuming we're following Hawks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can lead from behind.
Go that way.
There's no backseat
Yeah.
driving.
Oh, yes, there is when you're a rogue. You never are up front. That's the worst idea. Especially when you're a kobold and scared of everything.
You just point.
Yeah. So wait, I guess which way are we going? Are we going?
Going towards the right side of this map.
Okay. Stay near the large half orc.
Deal.
And suddenly, Shine and Balasar notice something. Movement in the trees, flashes of bright color that you just kind of
shit, yeah.
spot. The trees kind of to the north of you. But as soon as you see them, they're throwing things at you. So what I'm saying is, Shine and Balasar are not surprised. Everyone else is.
Crap.
Shine whips out her bow real
Are those
quick.
goddamn Gripplies?
Yes.
With how far I had the map zoomed out, they immediately looked like Murlocs.
They are a little bit.
Yikes.
In the tree a bit in front of you, Balasar can see, and so can Shine. You can see a small creature like a large frog, but it's kind of hunched, squatted down on its two legs, and it is let's see here, what color is this one? It is a bright orange in color. And the trees to the north, they're all kind of this bright neon green. And it
Quick before recognize these creatures.
you can make a nature roll.
I will do the same.
Yeah, just kind of in advance. That's fine. Balasar, you've never heard or seen of such a thing. This is preposterous.
Nice.
What these are, that makes sense. He's from here. They're grung. They're frog people. They live in the jungle. They're pretty freaking savage and brutal little creatures.
Oh yeah, I'm not happy.
They're not dumb. They're just they have a way of life that they strongly adhere to.
Such as murder?
In this case, it would seem. And they all seem to have short bows as well, and they're firing them at you. Looks like Brand's in front.
No.
Okay, so is there like a map that I'm missing?
Yeah, I linked it here.
Okay, cool.
linked
Because
it
I'm pretty
again.
sure you did it like right whenever my stuff.
Yeah, I think so. Oops, I accidentally
Whoa.
did damage immediately. Sorry, let me
He
fix
rolled
that.
a hit.
That won't help.
Okay,
What
cool.
a cheater.
Thank you.
Actually, here, let me roll my. I'll just roll my attack. That way, I don't have to re-roll things if it hits.
I mean, that did hit, so I did take the damage, I suppose.
Well, we're not done yet. Why did you get advantage on that? Oh, you have a thing that gives you advantage on.
Seems like the first roll was pretty good. Just take the 18. Probably would have been the first dice.
Have a resistance?
Yeah, it would have been the protection from poison I put on him way back when.
Oh shoot, you're right. Yep. Okay. Well, sorry, I gotta re-roll that one, Bran.
Damn it. Okay.
Okay, fix that. You succeeded anyway.
Yes.
So you do not. So you can feel kind of like a bit of a strange burning where the tip of the wooden arrow. It's just a pointy stick. It's like barely fletched. It doesn't even. It has kind of just like a stone tip, but it definitely stings as it kind of cuts along your leg.
Okay. Soon
And you
as that
feel a light
happens-
burning, but you don't feel any poison.
Okay. But I mean, it's pretty obvious that it's poisonous, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. You just
Oh yeah. I yell as soon as I get hit. I yell, "They're using poison!"
And then it is Shine's turn because she was not surprised, thanks to her passive perception.
Let's see. I'm gonna go after this guy. Definitely gonna shoot him in the face.
Arrows, huh? We'll see who can arrow better.
Oh. So I think I hit him.
Yep.
Boom, bitch.
Kerthunk! The arrow strikes right into the Grung's shoulder, kind of driving him back. It pierces through his body completely and into like the tree behind him, and he has to like pull himself off of it.
Oh, I'm gonna hit him again because I get to attack twice now.
You do. The second arrow,
Hell yeah.
as he pulls himself forward, trying to pull himself off the arrow, the second arrow pierces right through his heart, pins him to the tree.
Sweet. I almost forgot I could do that.
I was going to remind you.
Ooh, does that mean if I use action surge, I can hit 3 times?
You actually, I believe it means you can make 4 attacks.
That is correct.
Oh yes.
Are you going to do that now, or are you good? Do you want to move at all?
Let's see. Yeah, sure. I'll take on this dude. I'm assuming that
So-
hits too?
Yep, it says hit. You can see
Oh,
in
it
the
does.
chat.
Apparently, Shine goes full on Legolas.
Yeah, Shine just immediately whips out like 4 arrows. All 4 go shooting into the trees, thunk, 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 taking out 2 of the Grung that thought they were ambushing you immediately.
All right, cool.
You want to move at all, or are you good?
No, I'm good.
Cool.
Well,
Thanks, Lair.
thanks for pulling aggro there. I'm sure they're gonna really not target me or anything.
The ones that are left do not have short bows. So,
Take that, you web-footed bitches.
however, it leaps out of the tree at an incredible speed and height, landing. And we'll put it there, landing there. So its leap carries it from the tree all the way to there, and then it hits the ground, kind of running, darting up to the side and then down to kind of shove a primitive dagger right at Shine, clearly alarmed by her prowess. But the attack goes wide.
Shine just mocks him and then whacks him upside the face with her tail. Come at me.
Beautiful. This one will go for Balsar. I actually managed to land a hit. Balasar is not so fortunate resisting the poison. It burns as it courses. Dang, that was a good damage roll. It burns as it courses through your veins, and for a moment, your vision is a bit blurred by the pain. You don't have the poison condition. It just does some more damage to you, which is good in some ways.
I forgot to click it. Ignore that.
I guess this one will also go for Bran. Makes sense. Bran's still surprised, technically. Once again, Bran's able to shake off the poison, but he still gets a dagger in his other leg. Belisar's turn.
Oh, what about my turn?
It's surprise round.
Yeah, we're still in the surprise
Oh,
round.
okay, yeah.
They just all got their attacks.
That's right.
I am going to cast protection from poison on myself.
Not unwise.
And actually, that's it. I don't think I need to move.
All right. Fair enough. All right, back to the top of the first actual round with Hux.
Yeah, I can do a thing. First, I'm going to take my cunning action to do disengage.
Nice.
And I'm going to go. And I'm going to shoot the one I'm targeting. Question. Oh,
You weren't on the square. I fixed it. So, you want to be there. Okay.
yeah. What's the weather like today? Or is it too over? Or is the jungle too thick with?
Oh, you're actually in thick jungle here, so it's fine.
Okay. All right.
You are fortunate there.
So I'm going to attack with advantage.
Ooh, nice.
Crunch. Wow.
And then, let's see. I think, yeah. Hux is then going to go prone.
Interesting. Good
Hard
call.
to hit.
So Hux somersaults backwards, kind of kneels on one leg, fires off an arrow that strikes the grung attacking Shine directly in the throat, knocking it back to the ground where it's clearly bleeding out and no
Shine
longer a
cheers.
threat. And then, like, drops to his belly on the ground. You good from there, Hux?
Yep, that's all I'm doing.
Those are all the things. What's this guy gonna do? It's not looking great for his team.
Too late. They've already fucked up.
He actually leaps out of the tree, discarding his short bow and pulling out his dagger, and runs into the middle of all of you.
Shit, kamikaze frog.
smelling an AoE attack here.
I don't know what gave you that idea. All right, so it's not going to hit. Hux.
Shine just yells out, "This is gonna hurt."
Oops. Nope, that's right. So most of you
I
are
saved.
okay. So nobody takes any damage, but so it leaps out of the tree, runs into the midst of you, and then it kind of raises up its head and emits this noise that is actually beautiful. Just this churring, whirring, tree frog-like trill. And for some of you, for Fennec, for Weed, and for Shine, you're just overwhelmed. You're stunned by how beautiful this sound is. You can't do anything for the next turn.
This is the
And
worst kind of payback.
and things against you get advantage. You can't move, and you can speak only falteringly. That is its whole turn, however.
Can I use my bonus action as a like? I know it's not my turn, but can I determine the spell with an Arcana?
Mm,
I think it was a spell.
you know that it's not magic.
Oh, okay.
It appeared to be some sort of natural ability of this creature.
I have a natural ability myself, so this does not surprise me.
I mean, it was magic, but not like arcane.
Yeah, like I know I can dispel magic. That's why it mattered to me.
All right. Fennec stands there drooling. Shine does much the same. In that case, this guy is actually going to kind of shift to the side and attack the stunned Shine. Because they are nothing.
Would he not provoke an opportunity?
No, only if he leaves your area of attack into the addition. Area of your threatened area. You can move within an enemy's threatened area as much as you like, as long as you don't leave it.
I disagree with that rule, but I will obviously accept. Well, I mean, think about it this way: if you're trying to keep someone behind you so that they can't be attacked, how exactly do you represent that in D&D terms?
Well, you got to remember in D&D, like each turn is 6 seconds, and everything's actually happening simultaneously, and every 5, like you're not actually like standing in one place in the middle of your 5-foot square.
No, I know.
Like everything's constantly moving and shifting around. Plus, flanking doesn't do anything in 5th edition, so it's not a huge deal.
Yeah, that's they learned their lesson from 4th because that was stupid.
My first 5th edition game that I ran, I let flanking give advantage, and it was just way too good for both the enemies and the players. Like it was just brutal every time.
Oh no!
Speaking of brutal,
What was that?
sticks the stunned Shine right in the gut with his dagger, and you can feel the poison burning in your gut.
Son of a bitch, not again.
Beautiful. Was Bran stunned? No.
Nope.
I think Weed and Shine was. He can't really get to any of those people, so I guess he'll keep fighting Bran, who he no longer gets advantage against.
Doesn't need it.
Apparently not. This guy's nothing but trouble for you. Bow. But you continue to not be perturbed by. Bran just seems to have a natural immunity to grung poison, apparently, that he never knew about.
So remind me, like if I do an attack with both weapons, does that count as just the attack action?
So to attack with your offhand weapon, you actually have to spend your bonus action to weapon fighting.
So it is. Oh, so you see, that's the trade-off. You know?
Yeah.
Okay. I will do.
It gets better later on. Also, I think there's also a feat you can take if you want, but yeah, just as it is now.
I'll step in. Let's see. I'm gonna take a step this way. This does not provoke an attack of opportunity, right?
Nope. As long as you stay within the enemy's threatened range, you're good.
All right. I'll do an attack with one weapon on the one in front of me. It'll be a defensive flourish if I get it.
Cool.
I was gonna do slashing, but Well, actually, I could still do that. I could just go all out.
I think you get to decide after you hit.
That's true. All right. Yeah. Against the grung first. Okay.
Oh
that
no,
hits.
you do have to choose before you roll, but it's fine.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna. Okay. Well, I was gonna say.
Well, you just have to decide to flourish. I don't really care if you decide which one it is after.
Yeah. No, I was planning on one way or another. I think what I want to do is. Let's see. I do 1, 2, attack, and then hit that one. I suppose I'll try that out. I'm gonna do 2 attacks on the one in front of me, the grung. So I'll do a second attack on him.
Wait, shouldn't you resolve the one you just rolled first?
Oh, true.
You just hit with your first attack.
Yep.
No flourish on that one?
No, I'm saying I do want to.
Oh, okay, so you flourish. So which flourish are you doing?
But I mean, like flourishing. But if I attack with both my weapons, I get to attack both weapons and then flourish, right?
You get to choose whether you flourish on each of them individually.
Oh. Okay.
Wait, you can only use one per turn. Sorry, you can only use one blade first per turn, it says.
Right. Okay. So.
You can only flourish on one or the other. Yeah.
Oh,
You decide. Okay, you decide to do it before you attack because you get the
Right,
attack
right,
speed
right.
bonus or
Oh,
the
I think
weapon
I know
speed
this
or the
is supposed to go
movement
then.
speed. Yeah.
so I decided. So I'm going to use slashing flourish and hit the leader also
Cool.
with this same one, right?
Yep. So roll that D. Nope, you don't have to roll a hit. You don't make another attack. You just also deal damage to the other one.
Okay. Is that augmented by my inspiration?
It's the number
dice?
that you roll. It's the die number that you roll. It's just you just roll your Bardic Inspiration die, and that's how much damage you do to the other target.
Oh, it's just the wait. Hold on.
When you hit with slashing flourish,
Yeah,
you
extra
deal
damage to the
damage
target you hit
to a
and-
target
and
within
to
5
any other
feet of-
creature of your choice that you can see within 5 feet of you.
Yep. So you
Okay,
don't roll
so the
another
extra
attack. You
D8
just roll your D8 and then deal that much damage to another target.
Right, but wouldn't that apply to the first target as well?
No, not with slashing flourish.
Does you can expend?
Oh yeah, it does actually. Sorry, you're right.
Yeah. Right.
It does to both. Good call.
Okay, well they
Wow.
each take 1 extra damage.
Hey, it's something.
Yeah, true.
And then you can make your second attack.
Well,
But you
I
can't
didn't roll
flourish with that
damage
one.
I didn't roll damage on the leader.
You don't.
Oh,
It's your Bardic
Sorry.
Inspiration die. You're good.
oh, I see. Okay, yep, you're right. Okay. Well, it's a good thing I haven't really tried this yet.
No
Okay,
worries, it's new.
But I'm gonna use the other. I'll do the other roll on the same target I hit first time.
It's pretty good for situations like this. You just rolled a 1.
Yeah.
It happens.
I mean, thought it was a little bit better, but that's okay.
You were able to dispatch the grung who has stabbed you with his dagger twice. And catch just with the tip of your blade, catch the leader of them behind you. As Brand shows off his new 2 scimitar fighting style, swinging into a flurry of steel. Anything else, Brand?
No, I think that's all I can do.
right.
Because I did move and attack and bonus.
Go ahead, Belisar.
I'm so glad that this program uses my notification sound to let me know it's my turn, because I was messing with my themes the other day, so it was definitely like a trumpet.
Oh, it does? That's
Yeah.
great. I didn't know
It's like-
that.
It's like, wait a second. And then I realized it was my turn.
That's brilliant. I should set mine to just be John Cena's theme song. So what you doing there, Dragonborn? There's 2 guys left.
Are you forgetting your push to talk?
Damn it! Like, I'm not forgetting it. I just didn't click off of fucking Fantasy Grounds. God damn it.
Yeah,
Anyway,
they'll fix that someday. I don't know if it's a
Yes.
Discord problem or Fantasy Grounds problem.
I
mean, kind of
honestly
both.
think that it's the Fantasy Grounds
It's really
has my
both.
push to talk button set for something else.
Yeah.
And so that's probably the issue. Anyway, Balasar less concerned about the minion as he is about the leader, draws his hammer and swings towards the leader, but mid-swing it lights with all of the fury of Bahamut. And I'm using magic weapon upon my swing. It's a bonus action.
Sweet. Hold on. I think we can do a thing. Yeah, we can. There you go. Now it'll automatically add the +1 to your attack and damage and count your damage type as magic. The Grung manages to mostly kind of roll with the blow, but it's still clearly like fatigues him and leaves a bit of a mark.
I'm curious though, why did that get a +2 on the damage? I'm not complaining, but where did the extra +1 come from?
Your strength.
Oh, right on. Okay.
You do have some of that. All right. Back around to... Weed just kind of reaches out his hand towards the beautiful music of the frog, clearly enthralled. Kwasha, like, says, snap out of it, Kupalu. And, Shillelagh bonus action? Yeah. Hit up his Shillelagh spell. And then swing. He holds out his quarterstaff for a moment, and then the tip of it just kind of grows and gets covered with this thick knob of thorns, and the whole thing looks far more deadly than it was a moment ago.
Sure is weird.
Get him, little man.
Alas.
He spent more time, or he spent all of his energy making his stick more fancy.
It happens. We've all been there. I know that we're going slightly past our time here. We started late, so we'll finish after we finish this fight here.
Oh,
That's
good.
good, because I was going to dip either way.
Yeah, we're almost done.
Okay, targeting the Grung Elite. Same thing, just fire, sneak attack, all that good stuff.
Excellent. Arrow strikes. This time, it draws blood.
Oh yeah, sorry. And I would have gotten up, so that's only 5 feet of movement for me. So I still have my bonus action left. And
Hux like kips back up to his feet.
See,
Fires off an arrow in the same movement.
5, 10, 15, 20. And I guess gonna drop back down, and since are the is the grass like really tall? Basically, if I drop down prone, can I use the bonus action to hide?
Given the circumstances, yeah. There's plenty of overgrowth in the area.
All right.
They're a little distracted since they're both like on the other side of your allies from you.
Yeah, not the greatest, but I'm still prone, trying to be hidden, and that's my turn.
Excellent. I love Hux's extremely paranoid fighting style.
It's like he's a kobold or something.
I forgot that my hardest hitting. I'd forgotten that my hardest hitting ability is a cantrip. I could do this on every turn.
Heck yeah. I think that the grunt kind of leaps up into the air and slashes with its dagger at Bran's throat.
Whoa, that's uncalled for.
It slashes just short of your neck, though, and you're able to kind of parry and deflect the blow quite easily. You're no longer stunned.
Huzzah.
Fennec.
All right. I'm going to move there and
Hulk
start
smash!
swinging. He's angry. shakes off the stun, and you're going down.
I should have attacked Fennec. What was I thinking?
So that one was first miss, and that one.
Hooray!
Anything happen with the crit fail? Or no?
No,
Okay.
I don't.
Okay, just double checking.
I mean, it's embarrassing. Fennec, like, just completely coming out of the stun. He just kind of swings his sword at, like, literally the air to, like,
I
the
think
other
it's
side
like,
of himself.
I think it's like little. He's still struggling to get out of the stun, but then he'll come down with the extra attack, and then
That's less
Whiff that
embarrassing.
son of
That's
a
just a
bitch.
normal miss.
he's gonna action surge,
Nice.
swing again, hitting.
Man, this Krug Warrior's taking a lot of damage.
It says elite right there.
He's
It says it on the tin.
And then
He's got the
last
gold
swing
dragon around his
misses.
hitbox.
It's a wily little thing. It's kind of dodging around your blows. You manage to land one of them, but it doesn't come easy.
So, and then at the end, like, he kind of raises up his shield and taps on it with his shield. He's like, "Come on!" And that's my turn.
Shine's turn.
The Shine's gonna back up.
That'll provoke an opportunity attack. I hope you know.
2 of them, in fact.
Well, Shine has the most hit points.
I'm not saying she can't take it. I just wanted her to be aware of her choices.
Well, no, why? Because I'm not like immediately beside either of them.
Yeah,
you
but
are.
you're in their threatening area.
The threatened area is like the whole box around them,
Well, how's your melee?
including diagonals. You can still attack with a ranged weapon at melee, but you are at disadvantage.
So you could either potentially get the shit beat out of you backing away to get your full shot, or take your shots at disadvantage. I would go with the former rather than the latter, because I think you've got the hit points to take. But just kind of be aware.
Yeah, no, that's my plan. How far can I go back without like it impacting my attacks? Is it just like 5 feet or?
Yeah, that's as far back. You just have to get out of their immediate range.
Okay, cool. I'll do that.
All right. Yep, they'll take those chances. See how they do. Less competent guy first. Lucky
Nice
hit.
roll.
Ouch.
That was a D4.
And you succeed against the poison, so you don't take further damage from that. Now that you've been fighting them for a little bit, you can all see that there's kind of like this goop on their weapons. That is clearly the poisonous part, and you can also see it leaking from their skin. Second one. Sorry, here we go.
I mean, that's convenient. They just kind of secrete poison.
I mean, if it's coming out of you, you might as
You're a
well.
frog.
So Shine, you're not poisoned, but you do take kind of 2 dagger slashes as you just the like blunt part of the weapons hit you, so they just kind of leave bruises, but it stings a bit. But then you're able to unleash your attack.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Shoot him through the eyeball.
Oh wow, they have really bad AC.
Thump, 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 dead.
Don't, don't.
Lars Anderson.
All right, y'all.
over here.
There's one left. Take him out.
All right, that'll be me. All right, we're gonna go with the double slash Reno on him.
Yeah, the good news is that if this asshole ever decides to leave this spot, he's gonna provoke
like,
an
yeah.
opportunity from somebody.
And there's a
Oh,
There you
crit.
go.
Nice.
I bet this will finish him.
God, I hope so.
Hell
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
I roll both damage anyway.
Just lop off his head. Finally.
Yeah, the first one was just a feint to get him to move his dagger out of the way, and then I just cut his face off.
Oof, brutal. but appropriate. And then
So-
the frog people lie dead before you.
I need everyone to remind the dumb cleric that his most potent attack is no longer hitting with his hammer.
Is it Sacred Flame?
No, it's Ray of Frost.
Oh yeah, that's also really good.
Why?
It's a
how's
ranged
this-
attack that does 2d8 cold damage, like straight up. It's the
And you
hardest
get-
hitting ability I have.
You get a
And I
highest,
can do it infinitely.
and you use your wisdom,
Cantrips
which
do
is better
2d8.
than your strength. They can. Once you get to level 5, your cantrips level up in damage.
Oh man, I
Nice.
figured that would necessitate higher spell slots or something crazy. That's quite a bit.
No, they level up in damage occasionally.
I think it's usually like
You-
5 and then 11.
I think your Vicious Mockery leveled up.
It did?
I think it
Oh, maybe
does.
did.
Yeah, it's supposed to do TD4 now. I'll fix that for you.
But yeah, Ray of Frost naturally does a d8 in damage as it is, but you have to make a successful ranged attack first. So at level 5, it bumping up to 2d8 is still contingent on that ranged attack.
Yeah, cantrips level up at 5, 11, and 17.
But that -10 movement's really nice.
Oh man, I just got a lot meaner with my insults. I should do that more often.
Vicious Mockery is pretty
Just, like,
effective.
really rude. I just really just
Somebody
I get really personal.
somebody taught Brand some swear words in all their languages.
Oh no, it goes beyond swear words.
I love it when people, like, I've had bards in my other games just like kill big bosses with like a Vicious Mockery at the very end when everybody's out of everything.
Of course, it's the
It's just like,
one-liner.
well, your mom, how dare you?
Oh my god!
If I had a vicious mockery,
no.
every single one of them would just be a terrible joke.
No,
My
no,
heart.
I'll just call them incels.
My
more
self-esteem. No,
Just reminds
Yeah,
me of
honestly,
don't say that about my mom.
I'll tell you though. I mean, if I were the bard using Vicious Mockery, I would go for much lower like blows. I would try to convince somebody or someone or something why it is that they are the worst of their kind. So like you're fighting this big crazy gold dragon that's protecting its horde or whatever, and you just walk up to it and say, I'm more terrified of a green.
That's so mean.
just watch the dragon just go like, ah. It dies of a broken heart.
How dare you?
Yes.
This dragon's a nerd.
Alrighty,
convers-
well,
This whole conversation just reminded me of that Scott Pilgrim scene in the movies. Like, your hair's stupid. Burst into coins.
yes, yes, that is exactly how it works.
Well,
Well,
you did
that's
just
what
headbutt
we'll-
my boyfriend so hard that he burst.
That is where we'll wrap up for tonight.
Any loot from the frogs?
They do have some stuff, don't they?
Yes.
Don't forget the loot.
Anyone
That's
have any
important.
glass vials to collect this poison?
I was just looking at that.
Hold on, I might.
Very carefully.
That's why I have survival.
Well, I have a couple of flasks, but they have oil in them.
I have one vial.
Oh, I have a vial too. How much poison could we extract from them?
Make a perception check if you're looking for a treasure or investigation, whatever you want.
Oh yeah, one second.
Ooh.
I'll also just do that first because the bodies will always stay
I'll do
there.
investigation. I'm bad.
Well, not always, but for a while.
Detective Brand's on the case.
Hopefully, I found a thing.
Dang.
And
Shine
I'm pretty
definitely
sure
finds something.
Shine
Oh,
finds
look,
the
this one
shinies.
actually had a gold ring attached to his loincloth. How crazy.
Actually, you find so there's nothing on their bodies really. All their equipment's pretty crap. Actually, don't find anything too great. The one thing you find, unfortunately, is a 1 unit of insect repellent.
I'll take it. Thanks.
Sometimes you get a folding boat. Sometimes you get 1 unit of insect repellent. It's just the way random loot goes.
Is there
Okay,
people in the area?
Do we need to make survival checks to try and get the poison into vials without hurting ourselves?
Do you have vials?
I have a vial, and I think someone else does.
I have a vial as well, but I'm happy to hand it off to Hux if it means that it has a higher chance of getting in there.
Perhaps you should let me do it. I've protected myself against this particular brand.
That's a good point.
Well,
he's not bad at
I mean,
survival.
So Brand's just gonna hold up a vial, and whoever takes it gets to do it.
Dragonborn can do it if he wants.
Dragonborn's got a +5 on his survival check and is under the effects of protection from poison. So even if I screw up, odds are I won't kill myself.
Okay.
Go for it.
Wait. Oh,
What did I miss?
it said 13. I thought it said
Yeah.
1.
Oh,
I thought it said one,
that's
too.
at 1 too. All right, well, I guess you're good then.
What? What just happened?
On you.
I don't know. It
Fantasy
must have
ground?
displayed it wrong. It scared us. It was just messing with us.
So do not,
It just wanted to really piss you off tonight. At the
do
very
not
end.
underestimate the power of Bahamut.
Yes.
Turn
Bahamut
one
was
to
down
start
and changed the die result.
I'd say that's more Tamora favored us there.
Okay, so
Oh,
who's
great, Dice Gods.
you're able to safely harvest the fresh ooze, poisonous ooze from these frog people's skin before they kind of stop secreting it due to being, killed.
2 freshly harvested vials of disgusting goo.
I'll
Uh,
take my file back.
I'll edit the description.
Three dank succulent fruits were added to your inventory. That's fantastic.
Who's taking the other one? Are you taking it back then, Bran, or is it going to someone else?
I'll take it back. Although, let's see, Hux, you're using yours. I mean, can we, like, if we have time to prepare for a fight, we could have more than one use for it, right? Like,
Each of these vials is 1 use, but it lasts for that fight.
Let's see. Yeah, no, I'll hold on to it.
Cool. Just gonna give the thing that I just edited. I'm gonna give X2, and then I'm gonna move 1 over into Brands because that's easier than typing it. So I have to kind of make a custom item here.
That all she wrote?
Sounds good to me. Unless anybody else has anything else last minute here.
I just am going to try to squeeze a nap in before I have to raid tonight. So
I'm already working.
see you guys.
All right.
I'm just gonna see if I
So-
can. Mhm.
We'll pick up next time with the final exploration of, hopefully, the final exploration that will lead you to the lost city of Omu.
Here's
Looking
hope.
forward to it.
Sounds good.
Have a good night, everyone.
I'm probably gonna be late next week.
Okay.
Yeah, so one of our groomers, you know how good.
So thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. We will see you next week. Sorry about the late start, just a lot of life stuff got in the way for everybody. So tune in next Thursday, hopefully right around 7:30 Central Time again. Take care. Later.